I'm IBX Toycat, and this is perhaps my biggest ever survival project. It is a giant console edition size Nether that I am building entirely out of Netherrack. I've even got my own custom recreated Nether fortress. I destroyed an entire fortress, built its blocks into this, and then I've got this giant area which I'm building to have full Netherrack walls, and then I'll be building a deep slate roof on top. I'm actually getting really close to finishing these walls. As you can see, this is going to be the finished height, and here's where I'm at now. I'm actually really close, but as I run out of Netherrack, or as I'm running out of Netherrack, I'll likely have to do some of the... how did a wandering trader spawn there? Of all the places... You know, you do you, buddy. Anyway, so this is going to be the fun thing, and as your favorite, toy chickened man, I'll be doing precisely that today. So hello everyone, how is your Wednesday going? This is your Minecraft and Chill stream. If you're not familiar on this channel, I do quite a few stream series. This is a, opportunity to like hang out in the Minecraft world and have a bit more chill. I don't have to worry about dying. I mean, I do have to worry about dying, but I've got a totem. I've got all of the, normal equipment. There are fun opportunities for me to have still, don't get me wrong, but it is mostly about let's hang out and vibe and play some Minecraft. I've mentioned many a time before, but like the whole reason that I enjoy making these videos is because I'd often be going on like trips like this in Minecraft and just think to myself like, actually, I like start thinking to myself, and I started like sharing those things in my like very earliest Let's Plays, and that's, I think, part of what led me here today. How the heck did the Wandering Trader get down there, chat? Oh, I guess he fell into... Oh no, there's two Wandering Traders. So this isn't meant to happen, but thanks to one of my favorite Bedrock bugs, it has in fact. And we're not going to question it because I don't want to question it. Let's be honest. So playing with Toycat's Toolkit right now, says Goo Barbarian. Oh man, I'm so excited for people to get their hands on it. Now that people are actually playing it, like I haven't seen any like screenshots of it yet. That's gonna be the moment where I'm like, oh yeah, this is real. I think it's gonna be really cool to see like on the subreddit or whatever. What people are doing with it. It's one of those like big points of nervousness releasing anything into the wild, and it's funny because the only it's exciting that it's out there. I'll talk about the only critique it had later, because it's like the, I think this is the useful thing is like I think like I think everyone has parts of themselves they are secretly vulnerable about. Like I think this is the thing about appearance, right? You can call me fat and it won't hurt me because to my mind at least, I am not fat. Or you can call me, like skinny, or you can call me short. And those words won't affect me in the slightest. Like, I know what the average height is. I know, but if you are vulnerable about that, if you're like, if you had, like a girlfriend who had exclusively dated two guys before you and kept calling you her short king, maybe, someone calls you short and it triggers off the wrong impulse or whatever. Like people get vulnerable about different things. And I think a part of why is that there's a little bit of, I think the reason you either get upset about something because it comes up a lot, or because there's a little bit of truth in it, or some combination of those two things. If you hear something a lot, then it probably has a little bit of like, something somewhere that's accurate, right? And so, I think that, I don't know, like, one of my, like, I always used to feel like getting acne was, like, the worst thing as a teenager, because, like, it feels bad. Like, it literally feels uncomfortable, and then people will point out to you, like, oh, don't you know that you have spots or whatever? And you'd be like, oh, yeah, thank you. What a helpful insight. Or, like, people being like, yeah, I can't watch this. And you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's really good of you. What a great insight. Because it's real, right? Whereas, if someone says, I can't watch this guy because he has... I can't watch this guy because he wears Christmas shirts in, like, what month is it? May? Then it's like, well, actually, that's a part of me I like. If you don't like that, that's okay. It's very understandable, even, I might say. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish this whole wall here. And I'm actually thinking we made pretty good progress of the Netherrack we had. We might actually get it mostly done, which means we might have the walls entirely finished today, which is exciting to be able to say. So I call you Toycat, says Dasher. Thank you for calling me Toycat. I'm, unless you mean you call me, in which case I'm sorry for not picking up. So, yeah, how are you doing today, Toycat, says Rebecca White. I'm doing pretty good today. Thank you for asking. I think I've, like, been crushed under the weight of, like, there's too many tasks that I need to do, like, in the near immediate future. But I'm, like, preparing for those tasks indirectly. So, like, I've got, like, a travel thing I've got to do this weekend. It's my first, you know, road trip in the new vehicle. And I need to work out exactly where it's going to be. But, like, confusing things even more is the fact that, like, the weather might be bad. And if the weather is bad, you know, I think I mentioned before, I'm meeting people who are, like, 2 hours away from this thing that I am 5 hours from. But they're like, yeah, if we don't come, I'm like, okay, so then, you know, maybe that means I have to replan the whole thing, which means in reality, I can only plan so far, right? I can't book anything until it's solidified. But also I need to plan around, like, okay, so what am I going to do there? Like, I want to make sure if I'm in a new region of the UK, I've only ever transited through North Wales, never actually spent real time there. I mean, actually, I've climbed the mountain. You know, what more is going on there? But anyway, so, like, then the week after, I'm traveling somewhere else, and I'm like, okay, that also has to be sorted. But the problem is because I have to sort both of these, like, it's really, like, it's like the good type of first world problem to have. I'm so busy planning my stuff that I also have to worry about planning my YouTube channel around the stuff. And so I get this, like, distraction of, like, okay, which is more important? Having something to do while I'm there, or making sure that everything is running while I'm not? And the answer is like, well, actually, both are equally important. It's like, okay, that's not a good answer to the question, is it? Anyway, you know what's fun, chat, is we might actually hit a milestone today. If we are around for 10 days, which we might be, because I am trying to sleep, you might just witness a big moment for the Let's Play. So, Toycat, why are you playing Bedrock, says Alien Exotic. I play Bedrock all the time on this channel. I'd be surprised if you didn't know that. I think it accidentally became like a part of the channel identity in there. To this day, one of the very few Bedrock channels, right? Like other channels would be like, okay, I'm here playing Bedrock, ew. Why is this like this? I do not understand. You know, they've got all their settings to the default, like the weird uncomfortable settings, like the FOV is too small and stuff like that. So yeah, we're gonna go to sleep and we're gonna pick up some more Nevrac. And then we'll see what the Wandering Traders have. Not that I could possibly need anything from either of them, but it's just nice to check up, you know? Like, okay, I could get some tropical fishes. I don't want tropical fishes. I mean, I guess I sort of do, but not 3 emeralds bad. So we're just gonna quickly hop in here, grab all of the Nevrac that remains, and then we're gonna go place it all down. It's not gonna quite finish our wall, but we should be pretty close to finishing it by then. Good luck if it gets cancelled. Yeah, but then I have to be like, okay, so what else? What is my plan otherwise? Like, I'm a big believer in the idea. You know, maybe wrongly so. Maybe you should just be like, you know, sometimes your plan gets cancelled. You do your own thing, but it's like, no, I'm sunk cost fallacying this. If I let my also there is no bed here for some reason. I wonder why there's no bed. Did I move it somewhere? You know, let's just sleep on top of the walls. Oh, is one firework enough to get to the top of them? Yes, it is. Here we go. 126, perfect. Let's place our bed and let's sleep in it. Yeah, I'm a believer in the idea of like, you know, other people, you should want to do things regardless of whether there are other people involved. If you only want to do things because there are other people there, you know, then you should try to do things that are more fun. I mean, I guess there's some things that literally, like, you know, like, there are some things that are substantially more fun with other people, but there are also lots of things that, like, yeah, well, you should want to do yourself, right? People hate Microsoft, but take it out on Bedrock Edition and Bedrock players. Yeah, I think it's the weird thing is, like, I think everyone agrees the way that Bedrock is handled is wild. I just found something out today, chat. Like, literally, I was on the sofa, and I was like, oh, this is something about Minecraft and its monetization. I didn't know till now, because Microsoft doesn't publicly admit monetization things, you know, like, it's not in their interest to draw. Anyway, so I found something out really interesting, and I was like, huh, this is, you know, like, if these things are surprising me, it makes sense that some people get, you know, all that way in and then go, oh, so Bedrock does this now? There's a giant marketplace button, huh? Or whatever else it may be. I have both Java and Bedrock, but I prefer Bedrock. Hey, thank you, Military Gamer 9987. You know, there are some of us out here, right? There's at least 2 of us now. That's a posse right there. Java players when they randomly lag for no reason. Also, yeah, I think the real interesting Bedrock Java sign, because right now, trying to describe to people the benefits of 90 chunks of render distance, it's not actually that easy to sell someone on. Like, why would you want to see 90 chunks away? And I think it's so handy. But I think Vibrant Visuals is going to be a bigger part of explaining that. Because right now, you know, Bedrock is optimized about 3 to 4 times better than Java. And you know, in exchange, you know, it gets all the fun things I just mentioned. But because Bedrock is optimized 3 to 4 times better, it means that world file sizes are way smaller. I used to think, like, people would say, like, I've got a 4 GB world toycat, and I was like, have you been playing it for 4 decades permanently on or something? Like, but it's like, oh no, this is Java worlds are much less compact. And then Java Edition gets much less out of your performance, because it doesn't need to. It's running on PCs exclusively. Whereas Bedrock has to run on my phone, for example, and because it runs on my phone, it means when it's running on not my phone, it gets a lot of performance. Especially because my phone is more powerful than the phone that they actually organize it for. So, random def on Bedrock isn't real. Yeah, that's the biggest, like, point of hate. It is a low-powered device thing, which means it happens a lot, but it won't happen to most people. And that, I think the frequency illusion is one of the biggest things that breaks human beings. We do not understand that our perception of reality does not match reality. I think about this a lot. Like, I just got a brand new car, chat. It's a smart car, if you're curious. It's the slightly bigger smart car. But now that I bought one, I see them everywhere. I haven't seen one in my colors yet. I got a very unique color scheme, I think. I haven't seen one, like, even in, like, I've seen most of them are, like, black on black. It's kind of like a dull color, in my opinion. But, like, the fact that I'm seeing so many of this car, all of a sudden, is something that seems like, you know, pure random craziness. But it's actually, I'm seeing this car more because now I'm noticing it. You see thousands of cars every time you drive anywhere, right? Not that I drive anywhere often, but you know, like, even if you're walking places, there's cars because we design walking and car infrastructure to be tied together for some reason. But like, you know, if you look around, there's so many cars, and most of them mean nothing to you. But now that I own one, it's like, oh look, this person owns the same car as me. He's helping to validate my purchase decision, and vice versa. And so now that every time you see one, you're like, whoa. But the same is true for, like, weird events. If you really want to believe that something is happening all the time, this is like the scary thing about the news, you know. And it's also the scary thing about, like, you have to believe it when it comes to everything. That your perception is not the reality. Like, I think the most interesting one of this is what's the #1 cause of death. A lot of people put like gun violence or terrorism or you know, stuff like that. Cancer is common, but it's heart disease. Like, heart disease kills people, but it's like such a dull subject when it kills someone because it's so expected. The same with like the number of car accidents that happen a year. It's just underreported. Yeah, everyone's looking at other cars of their same variety, but no one's looking at every car crash and going, man, that'll happen to me one day. Everyone's like, oh yeah, that happens once every now and then. You know, like, we want to downplay the frequency of some events and upplay the frequency of others. So I've got a bow and arrow that I really don't need, so goodbye bow. I'll keep the arrows though. You know, my fletching tables are here for when those arrows get a use. Or I guess my fletching. Oh, okay, let's go to the nether. So now I've done a pretty good job of building this up. I haven't been using as much nether quartz as I probably should have, but let's go this way. So yeah, Peace Dragon. Oh no. Does this mean Super Flat is over? No. I'm also, by the way, I totally forgot I built the statue of Toy Liberty. The stat toy of Liberty. There we go. That's what it's called. Isn't it great? It was one of the first things I played around with the Spinret for, by the way. If you're not familiar, I actually just want to check this genuinely. Though I don't know how many. I don't get data for how many copies the add-on has sold or how many people are playing it or enjoying it or whatever. The only thing I can see right now is what's publicly available, which is how many reviews Toycat has. And it is... oh, none. Well, it was more than none the last time I looked. Okay, 12 ratings. 5 okay, that's great. I'm so excited. Every rating means like, you know, like someone else has given it a try. Someone is enjoying those things. I'm real hyped about it. Why is the statue called that? The stat toy, you mean? The statue of liberty. It's don't need an answer. So we're not going to the end, but I do have a nether portal down here. I should make an easy way into there. Oh, I've got 2 nether portals down here. Even better than 1, right? So yeah, how much is it? Oh yeah, so sweet cat 07. Can I remind you of the blind cynicism that like the internet can lead people to? So I posted a picture of Toy Cat's toolkit, and I got a comment. The first comment was, "Why'd you crop out the price? JK, looks really cool." But because that first comment said, "Why'd you crop out the price?" Now I got like 10, 12, so I got so much like active like people being like, "Man, you're such a scumbag, money whore," whatever you people calling, you know, like, what's the word? You sold out is what people will say sometimes. But I got people saying that because like, oh yeah, I can't believe you cropped it out. You know, if you're gonna be selling something, the least you can do is show the price. And it's like, guys, you don't think that I'm trying to hide the price to somehow get more sales. That's not how pricing works. That's not how sales work. I know that we're like cynical, but like, you know, at least let's be accurately cynical. So yeah, it was like a funny like little. It's the 1 point of hate I've gotten so far. I saw it once on a comment section of another video too, but it was someone being like, yeah, well, you know, I think that you know, like the fact that you're being caught, you're not yelling the price makes me think that it's a bad one. And it's like, okay, if I don't actively say something is good, it must be bad. That's a faulty way to see life, but that's fine, I guess. So now I'm gonna just do some more mining up here. I'm gonna destroy. I just need to get some of this netherrack destroyed. And so we're going to do that today. And try and get as much netherrack as we can for this shulker box right here. I should have brought more shulker boxes with me. I think 1 shulker box isn't enough. But I'm going to have to pray that it is now that I'm here. Also, I want to make this a real nice, perfect tunnel. But obviously, without the without doing like the perfect ratio, which is what I need to do to actually build this out. I mean, what I could do is I could start building the diagonals correctly. So if I think there's like one perfectly diagonal part of this wall. Or not diagonal, perfectly vertical. It's like right there. Okay. So it's right here. Oh god. Okay, this is messy. So I'm gonna have to do some calculations. But yeah, it was like the funniest. Again, I think it's really cool. It's like if you critique me and you say, Toy Cat, you are you know, what's I don't know, like if you say, Toy Cat, you're the most you know, sarcastic person I've ever met. And it's like, well, that's not a bad thing. Or Toy Cat, you're the most, you know, you're so handsome, it actively disgusts me. And it's gonna be like, oh no, I don't know why Grandma's leaving hate comments, but like, you know, I'm not offended by that, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, then we have this go in and out like this, I guess, kind of follow that along. And then we're going to have a block over here and a block over there. I'm going to try and perfectly follow this all the way along. So now we can destroy these blocks. We can get up here. We can start placing more blocks along here. And then later we'll place the vertical blocks on the side. This is worth doing, by the way, chat, because it lets me know exactly what blocks I can and can't destroy, which is a very useful thing to be able to know. So everything to the left here is gonna have to go. Not all the way down, but certainly most of the way up. And then it just helps me know that this is all worthless, etc, etc. Okay, so, one of the, do you know villagers can't jump on honey blocks? I'm rebuilding my FQ trading hall to have more space. I think that's such a fun idea. Making FQ versions of horrifying things in Minecraft. Definitely a big fan of that idea. Yeah, not jumping on honey blocks. I feel like that's a bit unethical though, Dasher. You know, if I couldn't jump to get out, you know, if I was like this far away from everything. So Cat, your hair is a bird nest. You know, that really hurts, Rami J. People do insult my hair a lot and they say it's like a bird's nest. And I don't understand why they say that, you know, like words can hurt. But now that I've taught you, you'll hopefully choose to hurt slightly less in the future. Anyway, come on, fellas, let's stop this Java versus Bedrock discourse. how do we get people going into the world of Java Bedrock? Vibrant visuals and the end has been changed too. Yeah, okay, real quick, Nico Arc fan. They didn't list it on the changelog, and what's even weirder is they updated the changelog, and then they didn't add the thing that I'm really confused about the end. It's starting to make me think that they're working to a deadline, because they're just making a bunch of, like, hurried changes. And, you know, like, hurrying changes isn't always the worst thing. But it often can be. So we want to go diagonally here and kind of lean left if we can. Just go this way. Nice and easy peasy. Hopefully don't make any too crazy mistakes. Okay, and then we're all the way through that and onto this. And then we do the same with this whole wall here. And it's, again, as soon as we get most of this mess out of the way, it should make a huge difference to the... Because if I remove this whole set of blocks here, it becomes a whole pain to actually build on the rest. But also this set of blocks here is making it look uglier and less complete. So I have to, like, wrestle the desire to, like, have something look complete and actually work towards the progression of something. I think we have that. I think that's, like, a common Minecraft problem, personally. So let's place some blocks over here. And then over here. And then over here. And over there. And over there. And over there. And then we can start destroying even more. Just really tunneling through here. Because any easy Nevrac we can get our hands on is Nevrac I do want to get my hands on. So, yeah, the person said Tomcat, not Toy Cat. You know, you're right. They said Tomcat had a bird nest for their hair. I am not Tomcat, therefore I cannot be offended by this. Boom. Got him good, chat. Got him good. You can't... all your insults to Tomcat have to be redirected to his mailing address. You know, there probably is a YouTuber called Tomcat. I was trying to search... Okay, so Chris, he made the world for the Ultimate Toy Cat Toolkit guide today. And so I was looking for his channel recently because he made a video about how he made it. You should go watch it if you're curious about that sort of stuff because it's a really cool world. But yeah, I was looking for his channel and I was like, this is Chris 09, and I was like, didn't find it. I was like, this is Chris 99, didn't get it. This is Chris 999. And I was like, wow, I cannot believe... Yeah, it makes sense that username-wise, enough people will have taken, you know, this is Chris. Like, it's, you know, Chris rhymes with this, I guess you could say. But the fact that there were so many this is Chris's with 9s in the username, that I had to, like, check exactly how many 9s and where the 9s were. I was like, man, the internet is full. It's one of the reasons why, like, way back in the day, the reason my username for my channel isn't, like, Andrew the Birdman, 2997. Yeah, like the reason that the reason I'm not called that, despite clearly being Andrew the Birdman 2997, is because like Andrew is such a non-distinctive way to be on the internet. It's like back when you lived in a village, you'd probably be the only Andrew, and if there was already an Andrew, you just wouldn't give birth to an Andrew, right? If you move to the village and you're Andrew and there's an Andrew there, one of you has to be Andy. I have a friend called Andrew. He's Andy around me just to make things easy. Because, you know, the name isn't the important bit. The identifying part is. I think that's why, you know, I think there's a lot of names that people are, oh, okay. Okay, let's go. Like, there can be as much or as little in a name as you want, I guess is what I'm saying. But, therefore, on the internet, where there are so many of us, where there's apparently not just multiple Chris's, not just multiple this is Chris's, multiple, you know, if you have Chris his, this is going to be quite confused. everyone don't mention it to him. So I'll just refrain from posting it all. Also, sometimes think about sharing things online, then I see comments left on literally any post. Some people can post their cat being cute, and comments will be calling the poster fat and gross. Yeah, it's, I think that's one of our, like, I think one of the easiest ways to lift yourself up is to tear other people down. It doesn't work in the long run, but it's the, you know, it's, I think this is the thing that surprises people most about how we actually feel in the world, is we don't actually care about how things are in absolute terms. Have you ever noticed, like, I say this about rich people, but, like, have you noticed, like, people that you would assume are really happy, like, really in-shape people, or even a better example, have you ever been in school and that one kid is like, oh yeah, I'm having a really bad time with these exams, and you're like, oh wow, they're having a bad time. I mean, how am I gonna do anything? And then you look at their results, and they're like, oh yeah, A star. And you're like, why did you say you were struggling? They're like, yeah, I almost thought I'd be getting an A in there. And it's not because they're trying to rub it in your face that like getting a C or a B is hard for you. By the way, if you live in the UK now, it's not C and B. It's, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know that system, so I'm just gonna keep using my one. Sorry. If it makes me sound American, then I'm actually just catering to my American audience. By the way, Americans love you. Did you know if you can buy Toycat's Toolkit, and you can do it using dollars too? Anyway, so staying on track, which I think I was trying to do in there. But like I think like because once you get to a certain point, I remember like speaking to like some people who were like, yeah, I'm really hoping to like, you know, get at least get an E here. In my mind, I was like, the people in school have told us so many times, if you don't get above a C, it means nothing to most employers. Why would you even be excited about a D? And to me, you know, like to me, I'm like, well, I'm just listening to what they've said. But like, I'm sure if that person were to speak to me, he'd be like, Toycat, why are you just making me feel worse? I didn't ever say it out loud. I feel like I have better etiquette than to try and make someone feel bad. But so because we measure our like level of good at something relative to other people, you can either get better at whatever it is you're doing, or way easier, just drag people down. So I think I don't know, like the Simply Sark makes pretty interesting. I like his Minecraft breakdowns, like kind of just to name a random creator. Or I like Jigabob's Minecraft Worlds, and I make Minecraft Worlds. So there's two people who are in the same field as me, you might say, and I can say they do great. Or I can even say they probably do better stuff than me in quite a few ways. Like I'm jealous of what they can achieve. Or no, they don't actually achieve very much. They're both really bad at what they do because they're actually stupid and ugly, you know, or whatever it is. And you know, like obviously that's no one actually does it that you know, like that consciously. I think you would feel bad and you'd feel shame and you'd feel regret. But you know, like it's we feel things relatively, not absolutely. It's the same reason why you can try and tell me all you like that people are starving in Africa, so I should be happy with what I've got. But it's not going to make me happy with what I've got. What a ludicrous assertion that it ever would or ever could. The amount of food they have in Africa has no effect on me. Maybe if I see it every day on TV, you know, but like it's like a silly thought to me. It's the same with like, you know, even your happiness is relative to your current life and the people around you. Also, 7 is an A, 8 is an A star, and 9 is an A star star. They made an A star star, Polly? Ah, man, that I physically couldn't have gotten A star star if I tried. I think it literally topped out at A star, and that was for like 80, 90%, something like that. What are they doing? They're grade inflating on me? To be fair, I should mention, for anyone who is, I think right now there is statistically, I don't think I have a lot of viewers who are like 16. I think the majority seem to be in their very late teens, early 20s, or older than that is a substantial amount too, especially on streams. But if you happen to be 15 or 16, I think it's useful to hear this from another person. That literally, I got my grades checked once ever in my lifetime so far. I obviously have a very bizarre career path, but it's still worth saying, I think. And if it's not worth saying, then I've said it anyway. What are you gonna do about that? So yeah, I think we're gonna work out where the roof of my nether is, because I'm worried about tearing through this and then it being a problem. But you know, maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I'm worrying too much. Maybe worrying too much doesn't help me at all. So let's just tear through here, and we can place blacks. We can place back blocks later if we need to. I'm from New Jersey, live in Oregon. Says Hopi16. Oh, Hopi! That means you used to live in a state where you couldn't pump your own petrol, and now you've moved to another state where you've only recently been allowed to pump petrol. Hopi, do you do it yourself? Again, I'm just going to assume you're American, you drive. I'm sorry if that's a rude assertion. But, you know, New Jersey and Oregon are both drivey states. You should have gotten tears from that. I know, right, Dasher. I should have broken down right then on the spot. And I should have really thought about what it is that I've done. Why am I killing someone just so I can work on a Minecraft project? Anyway, yeah, we don't get A star, we just have A. How can you get a plus on the highest grade? What do you mean, how can you get a plus on the highest grade? Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never understood the plus-minus system that you hear about in movies. In the UK, we just have, you have a grade or you don't have the grade. There's no like, well, it's a good version of that grade or it's a bad version of that grade. Because what's the point of having a grading system if you just create new grades within your grading system? You know, it's like, you can, it's like having a tier list and then putting something in A+ tier or S- tier. It's like, make a brand new tier for that, or just rank things within the tier. You don't have to try and, you don't have to tier within your tiers, otherwise the tiers don't mean anything. Speaking of tiers, also chat, here's a challenge, say something kind about something you like. Or something you love. Yeah, you know, that's what we need more of on the internet, Dasher. 9 is a high A star to be more precise. I know this because my little's got 3 9s. You got 3 9s? That's enough to that's enough to end up with the police on the other line. For me, I can't believe that's something you're proud of. Anyway, sorry, I had to make that joke for non-UK viewers. That is the 999 is the number of the emergency services here. Side note to my non-UK viewers, 999 is the objectively best emergency number. 911, dumb number. Also, it's offensive. You know, do you not remember that tragedy with the 2 towers? I think we should retire the number as a result. Second of all, it's harder to do. You're like, all the way there, all the way there. I might die between pressing the 9 and pressing the 1s. And third of all, it's what I'm used to, and it allows me to make that one joke right there. Is that not enough to love it for? Hey Toycat, do you think Minecraft will make Mojang will make a Switch 2 update, including mouse support for Minecraft? I think the Switch 1 probably supports the mouse already. Like, if the Switch supports it, Minecraft supports it, is my understanding. But yeah, the Switch 2 update for Minecraft is probably a while out. I think Nintendo is where the fewest Minecraft players are. It's a surprising fact, but like I tried to find information about Minecraft Wii U recently, chat, and it's like no one has played this game in so long. I tried to get a battle minigame lobby going for Switch Minecraft. Do you know how many people I got in there? 0. I searched for hours. I had to literally do a tweet and a community post. And after like 10 minutes, we had 3 people, and after like 20, we had a whole lobby. But we had one lobby of people, and I probably got the most like, you know, Minecraft console edition enthusiasts out there. The Switch is so I'm glad that all 9 Switch Minecraft players are here. 112 is the police number here. It used to be 02. No idea why it changed. Oh, Dasher, I do know why. Yeah, 112 is the international one. So just like how, you know, Russia uses kilometers, you know, rather than... I have no idea what your old unit would have been, but, you know, like, I think lots of countries realized really early on that, like, it's a really good thing to be a part of, like, the international system in lots of ways. Also, I think I should have left some blocks here for the ceiling. Although, no, the ceiling's way higher up, right? Yeah, my ceiling's at, like, 80-something. So therefore, all of these blocks aren't necessary. And therefore, we're chill. So that means I also have to destroy a bunch of this. Actually, let's start placing a big Nevrac blockchain to represent my ceiling. Because my ceiling is only a few blocks. But it starts here, right? So I'll have this middle block be represented by Nevrac. Or, really I should use deep slate, but I don't have any deep slate, so it's fine. Let's get up there, shall we? Let's make this mining of Nevrac easier. Because again, chat, I'm just trying to get Nevrac for my big project, but I might as well do it in a way that is productive. Rather, you know, like, if I'm going to be destructive, I might as well be productive about my destructive. So we'll follow this as far as we can. And I see immediately why this is a problem, but let's just try our best anyway. So now Nevrac goes along here. And then we tunnel a bunch more blocks. Again, this is all above the tunnel, so it doesn't matter if it's here. But as long as we follow this perfectly diagonally, it will represent where the top of the ceiling needs to be. And also, because we're so not surrounded by stuff, I shouldn't be killed by ghasts. I'm saying shouldn't because everything is always possible in Minecraft. But yeah, he's just a baby piglin. As long as he doesn't bring his parents, I'm not going to get shot. Man, I love that baby piglins aren't mad. That's a cute little detail about Minecraft. You know, a reminder that we aren't raised, we aren't born with hatred in our hearts. We learn it from our parents. Actually, I don't know. Maybe is this guy learning it from his parents, or is he going to learn it himself? But yeah, you know, we don't instinctively hate anyone. We are taught hatred because hatred's an easy way for people to lift themselves up or whatever. I do think, you know, if I really try to like analyze my own like childhood, I've been trying to do that recently. You know, like I think if you ever like think about what therapy is, it's like 99% someone just asking probing questions about your life so that you can get the really obvious stuff out there. Like, you know what? Are you sad that your parents don't hug you? And it's like, well, you know, obviously, you know, like it seems silly to say it almost. But it's like, yeah, well, working out what is wrong in your early life will help you with your midlife, and helping you your midlife. So I think I've just taught that baby what hatred is. But he's dead now, which means there's no problems anymore. Which is, you know, really good of me, really. I think some people would let that baby have lifelong trauma, but not me. I'm making sure... Well, I mean, actually, that baby did have lifelong trauma. But I made sure it was a very short period of time anyway. So now we just have to build a big bridge this way without being shot. I'm sorry, I didn't know it would kill him. I was just getting out of my way. So, I had a pretty scary gas boiler situation recently. Had to call the emergency service. All is well now, but it was terrifying as hell. Oh, that's fun. I want to know what happened with your gas boiler now. 112 doesn't roll off the tongue like 011899988199725 It's the new emergency service number in the UK they're trying out. Man, I feel like we've referenced that on so many streams, but it's my absolute favorite bit, chat. I can't explain any more than that. You'll have to trust me that it is by far, yeah, it's what makes British TV special. Okay, so now, oh wait, which is one of the interesting things about the internet, right? You know, is there going to be such a concept as British TV in, you know, another 10 years time? You know, because it's not like, I feel like British people would watch American YouTubers and American people will watch British YouTubers just as much as like, you know, like any form of like terrestrial stuff. Yeah, I feel like so much of culture can be shifted. It's shaped by TV. So much of what non-Americans know about America is from TV. You know, the fact that I know about the whole D+, D- thing, it's only because a TV show at some point has had a plot line about a character getting a D+ and how tragic of a thing that is. Or, you know, like, or maybe even memes, right? Like, I know about the meme if, like, you know, you gotta get, if B's is disappointing to Asian parents, B+ is still not good enough. That's what these memes have convinced me. Whether it is true or not is maybe a different question, but it's still culture. It's something I wonder a lot about with culture. It's like, so many of these things that we just think are like entertainment actually do like inform little bits of us. To the point where to this day I can still recite that line. I think I missed up two of the letters, or two of the numbers in there. So 112 is the emergency number you can call in whatever country you're in. That was exactly my point. It's like the metric version of phone numbers. So in the UK or the US, where 911 and 999 are common, you can still use 112. And in fact, in the UK, you can call 911, and it will work just fine as well, if I'm not mistaken. If you do have a problem in the UK, please don't call 911, if only to save us all the embarrassment. But yeah, in general, it's pretty safe, pretty chill. Okay, so there's a lot of ghasts around here I'm gonna have to start protecting from, which is something I'm not looking forward to doing. Okay, so if I just build fast enough, and then it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, look at me. Chat, I am solving problems. I don't know how the ghast isn't attacking me more, but I'm loving that she's not. And as long as I'm quick enough about this, she's just going to blow up her own roof. Okay, that's not her own roof. That's me. So yeah, that's a pretty nice step. A very useful one, I think. To be fair, we watch you. Perfectly entertaining, says Modesty Lopez. Thank you for saying I am entertaining. I am not as entertaining as, you know, am I as entertaining as anyone? That's something that will, like, mess you up. It's, like, thinking about, like, why is it that people like you? And it's like, it shouldn't be. It should be, like, a validating exercise. But I think especially, like, if you're trying to... I think it's really hard to know, like, what is the blend that makes you up. I was thinking about this today a lot, actually. So, chat, have you seen how good, what is it called? VO, the AI tool, has gotten? Like, how good it is at, like, you know, replicating real human videos? I've seen some, like, funny stuff done with it. But I've also, you know, a lot of people are saying, like, is this the end of, like, talking head YouTube channels? Can you know, what's the, now that you can, you know, personality used to be one of the few things you couldn't simulate, but now you can just create a personality, right? So is that the end? And I thought a really interesting thing about that is, like, well, yeah, no, because people don't like the idea of a lot of existing YouTubers might be fine because you've got, like, you know, people already know what it is you do. They know about your expertise, and no, you know, knockoff ChatGPT version of you is going to do that. But then I started thinking, like, actually, though, you know, if we get really, really overly deep into this, then to know what it is that, you know, let's say that, like, you know, like, fake Minecraft YouTube is a big thing, like the Quebblecops and whatever of the world want it to be. But, you know, like, if that becomes a big thing, hypothetically, and the only thing you have is your personality, what is my personality? I had to, like, real take stock of it. It's like, okay, if this is, like, one of my few assets that I have, what am I? And the answer is I have no idea. I think, like, most people don't have to ask the question. But chat, what is it that makes you you? Yeah, actually, let's make this a fun exercise of positivity. What is something you like about yourself, chat? Tell me. I would love to hear it. So Desha says, I like that you can make light out of anything, no matter the situation. Some light-hearted humor can't hurt. Yeah, I've been talking about this with quite a few people recently, and it's I think it's one of those weird, like, the idea of, like, being able to, you know, dark humor as a concept has gone away. I think a lot of, you know, like, air quotes, dark humor was maybe used as an excuse just to, it's a dumb rule, but it's like, yeah, a lot of people will use humor as an excuse to, like, just say mean things and be like, haha, I'm just making fun of it, it's fine. But actually, I do think that, in general, you should be able to laugh at anything, and laughing at anything is almost always the better solution than, you know, anything else there. I think, but I think that's like I think that might be, like, gone. I think, maybe that is why people find this to be fun. Is because we are willing to laugh and have a good time. And who wouldn't want to do that? The answer is lots of people. I think the answer is actually Gen Z, right? I think I think that's the actual answer. But yeah, okay, so now we keep mining this way. And this is a whole pain in the ass to sculpt, but it should hopefully be worth it eventually. Let's now remove this whole blob. And I think we should have done it from the top down. But it's working just fine this way, and it's going great. I'm stupidly stubborn, which worked today, says RubyDoo. Hey! What were you stubborn about that helped you today? Yeah, I would love to know, RubyDoo. You're just a nice guy, says Connor Hawks. Thank you. I think anyone being objective, if you describe yourself as a nice guy, I'm skeptical. Because I think that actually being nice, again, to my definition of the word, means understanding all the situations where you are specifically not nice. I think a lot of, like, friendly, I know, like, it's a very common, like, friendly guy thing to be like, oh yeah, I will help, you know, I want to be helpful, and then get yourself into situations where you actually don't want to be doing it, making everyone's life a little bit worse, because you weren't quite able to. I feel like, actually, you know, I feel like I'm very aware of the places where I'm, like, not that great, not that nice or whatever. Also, my ability to find joy in even the smallest things. So, Ash Starlight, What's the joy in a ghast exploding me in my nether? Find me that joy, Ash. Good to see you, by the way. It's a regular. I think the best part is being able to talk about literally anything. I love the talks, give insights and others' perspectives. I'm glad you think so. I'm glad that you find that to be a good part of the streams. So these blocks shouldn't be here. I think they were placed too early, or they just shouldn't be there at all. And these should go up another 2 blocks. So I am technically placing some of the blocks I need to be using, but it's important for the project. The project is important, and therefore I will place the blocks required for it. Anyway, yeah, Toy Cat, you are engaged. Man, I said say something nice about yourself, but everyone's saying nice things about me. Thank you, internet. I need this little boost today. Appreciate it a lot. Yeah, I'm glad that you think it's good. Also, I think the best part is, yeah, I think perspective is one of the hardest things to have and the easiest thing to think you have when you don't. I love talking to people who have what I previously believed was a crazy out there perspective. And you know, like, I think genuinely it's really easy to get poisoned in your mind to the point of thinking everyone else is like evil, or everyone who believes a certain thing is evil. But it's like, nah. Actually, there's some real good people who believe some real bizarre things. But then working out like how do you come to that is like such a useful part of life. To me at least. I find that to be useful in my experience. Caveat, I do not endorse or... See, this is what I'd have to do if I was Gen Z right now. I'd be like, well, obviously, I draw the line and I make... obviously, there's no excuse for this and for that. And it's like, no. You know, actually, everything is okay, especially the bad things. I specifically endorse those terrible bad things that you think I should do right now. Also, Floppy says, the gas exploding in the nether makes you thankful for all the times where you weren't exploded in the past. Yeah, it really is. I think... Weirdly enough, I think that right now, if I was just doing this netherrack mining with no ghast explosions, I think I would have moments where I was like, not bored, but where the task would be less fun. Whereas right now, I'm really glad that there's no ghast. I think that that almost sounds like a cop-out, Floppy. But I think having a bit of hardship every now and then, super important for understanding. I think having a little bit of hardship from time to time in your life actually is one of the like best learning tools you can have to realize what you like so much. Here's a line I heard. It's from Captain Sully Internet, the guy who landed a plane in that one river. It was a line that like sunk in with me. Internet. It really did. It was like, rather than trying to work out how to get all the things that you want, try to want the things that you have. It's that kind of perspective thing about like, yeah, it's so easy to assume that the reason you aren't happy is some physical thing. It's so easy to assume the reason that like the thing that you want is the thing that will change it all. But actually, more often than not, it's the much easier thing to do, as well as the much healthier, is like just work out what it is about what you have that you like.
Just got here. Good to see you working on the tunnel IBX toy chicken.
Thank you!
Does the hat make this chicken tax?
Thank you for the chicken tax. I think chicken tax is quite a curiously offensive one. Massively appreciate it, Mike Bailey. Hope you're doing well today. Yeah, a massive appreciation for the tip. I remember like there was this like wave in the like late 2010s where like tipping on streams was like this huge new thing. But I think maybe because like there are so many streams now, and I think there's like a whole different thing to it. But I still think every time I get a tip, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's like a fun thing about streaming. So whereas I could be like, wow, I can't believe I'm not getting many memberships today, because memberships are one of the big things that drive me in streams. Instead, it's nicer to be like, oh, isn't it cool? Someone likes what I'm doing enough to tip me £8.38. I can use that to buy a silly hat. By the way, I can't get the chicken to stay up straight, chat. Should I maybe have him go forwards instead? There we go. That's kind of something. Why does Gen Z have a Valley Girl accent, bro? I'm sorry, I'm in Gen Z right now, and I'm just so annoyed that you would say we all have Valley Girl accents. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And I would like to talk to your manager and give him some sensitivity training for what it is that he is doing to you right now. Because clearly he is not teaching you about the fact that I'm very sensitive to being told I have a Valley Girl accent. Because I clearly do not. This is... That's why creative mode isn't fun for me. No danger. Yeah, I every now and then I see like someone on, you know, it's not often, you know, like on our Reddit that often, but like I'll see it like, I've seen it in our Reddit, I've seen it on YouTube here, that someone will be like, you know, it's weird, but I just find it to be more fun to build in survival for some reason. And it's like, yeah, obviously. That's the reason survival mode exists, even though they created creative. It's not because some people are stupid and don't know, you know, it's like it's the exact same thing I was just saying. Like, when you value everything you have, you don't need as much of it. And in fact, sometimes having less of it is better. I think about that sometimes of like, you know, again, if you gave me a credit card of an unlimited amount of purchases I can make, I think there are so many things you could buy that would burden your life. Even just like, imagine you buy, something I know is like a dream for a lot of people is having like free cars. I hear about this a lot from like, you know, like car subreddits is like, what's your dream free car garage? And I'm like, oh man, I don't want to think about, have I driven this car recently enough? Have I driven this car recently enough? Which situation, which car should I get in? Like, it's the same with like, I couldn't imagine having multiple houses. I really considered for a while, chat, buying an apartment in Vegas. If you live in the US even, if you live in a city, anywhere in if you live anywhere on the coasts, let's even say that, let's go that far, then looking at Vegas's property market is nuts. You can spend like 100K and get an apartment. You can spend like 200K and get a nice apartment. And you can spend like 300K and get a house. Like, American dollars too, it's like, you know, adjust those figures down for pounds. And it's like, you know, compared to the UK, you're living in a small town that has poor transport connections for that price. But you can live in one of the biggest, most tourist-filled cities with some of the most fun stuff to do. And so I really considered buying a place, even though it was going to be like a stretch, you know, financially or whatever. I know this is like the most unrelatable thing ever to be like, I just considered buying a second house, but it was like it was at a time where I had to live there for various reasons. It was it made sense, right? It's dumb that it makes sense, but it did make some sense to do it. But I was like, no, man, having like an obligation, like I have to clean it, I have to look after it, I have to. It doesn't, even though it makes great sense on investment levels, you're so much happier not having an investment that is like that. It's not having what you want, it's wanting what you've got. Sheryl Crow, Captain Sully. Oh, it's from Sheryl Crow. It's Captain Sully quoting someone. Well, you know, this is how you know he's a good captain. He spends no time working out quotes. He instead spends his time being a pilot. Like I would hope he is. By the way, thank you for the tip, Diluted Dante. We've heard about Toy Cat as a Valley Girl, but what about a Valley Boy? I feel like if I do a Valley Boy, it's just going to sound like a... You know, not that there's a problem, but it's going to sound like I am just putting on a gay voice, right? Like, oh my god, I'm not a Valley Boy right now. I am in the Bay Area, and we have 2 incomes, and you better believe that we have the cutest Chihuahua. See, I can't actually do it though. You know, so here's an example, by the way, of like why a perspective is so interesting. There are so many interesting questions that people aren't willing to critically ask because they would rather get an answer that is easy. But then you get to miss out on the cool knowledge. Like, I think I just like knowledge at the expense of everything else. Like, I would rather offend someone and learn more about the world than not offend someone and learn something fake about the world. So one of my favorite examples is the, you know, I air quotes, the my Valley Boy voice that implies that maybe I am dating a human being of the same gender as me. But like, you know, like why is it that it's a common thing that like gay people sound that way, right? Why is that the case? That's interesting, no? And it's like, yeah, it's like a well-studied phenomenon. I think it's like called coding, something like that. That like it's, if you are, especially when it was less acceptable, but even now that it is, like, how do you find people that are, You know, because most men and most women, if you want to find someone to date, hope they, you know, find someone who is attractive, then, you know, shoot your shot, say, hey, you want to go out for coffee? And then they say, yes, I would love to go out for coffee. But if you want to date someone who's of the same sex, it's less likely they'll be down with it. They might be friendly, but that's just friendly, right? Whereas, you know, if you can at least be forgiven for assuming that if someone of the other gender is being nice to you, that they would be open to the idea. They wouldn't be offended at it. Whereas if, you know, if I ask my very friendly haircutting man out on a date, he'll be like, man, I have a wife, and I am from a country where they imprison gay people for hundreds of years. What do you think I'm going to say in response to that? Anyway, yeah, also, good to see you, Chase Jimmy. How are you doing today? Low, I live in the Bay Area, that's facts. It's the, it's the life hack. If you want to live in a city, the life hack is be two guys. Or be, you know, actually, no, the life hack, be two guys. If we assume that there is, you know... This is too deep. Let's back out of it. Girls need to drink coffee and buy Subarus. Yeah, exactly. So guys have to do that voice like, oh my god, it's so... I'm not, I can't do it. I don't have it in me. I never had to practice. Because I'm uncultured, apparently. But yeah, like the learning to do that is a great way to signal to people, hey, yes, I am also into, you know, human beings that have anatomy that matches mine. Would you be interested, mayhaps? And so girls, the equivalent is, yeah, you drink a bunch of coffee, you get a U-Haul subscription, and obviously you drive a Subaru. I feel like Subaru is the wrong way to say it, but I don't even know the other way that I would say it, chat. So Kat, you're such a philosopher. Love you, bro, says Godclaw. Again, so that's this comment I was just saying from before. I feel like genuinely, I just like facts. I just like knowledge. I just want to learn things. So like, okay, here's another like spicy one, right? Why again? And if you're trying to just prove some point in your head, you won't ever learn the answer to this. But why are there so many gay black people in TV shows? If you watch the latest seasons of You, I think they have their first black character, and he's both gay and black. I think there's two characters in the new season that are gay and black, which you can maybe justify because, like, well, they've got to be together, don't they? You can't have a gay couple and it only be one person. It's not a gay couple anymore. It's a gay single. But yeah, I think so we got lots of never calls, by the way, to take home. I think this should be enough to finish my structure. But it's like it's actually a trope. Again, if you just believe like the Cartman-esque line of like, oh yeah, put a woman in it, make her black or whatever, you know, like if you just like think that's what executives sit around doing, it's easy to like represent your reality. But what it is like, okay, so there's every like show like has a certain amount of like they try to, what's the word, like you try to make sure that your show will resonate with as many people as possible, which is why traditionally sitcoms have varied casts of characters. You have more interesting interactions when people who are different speak to each other than with people who are the same. You know, the most basic comedy premise is you have one funny guy and one person who is specifically not funny. When two comedians speak to each other, it's not actually that funny of a conversation because they usually need without the contrast it doesn't work. And so the idea is a lot of places now are like there's a lot of sudden diversity that people want to have that isn't necessarily in the acting pool for those places. And so it's a really easy way to like tick multiple boxes and be like, okay, so we apparently need this, then we need that, and so then you also can make them from somewhere. Like, if you get a character that's British and gay and black, put it in your show. Oh, yeah, you've ticked all the boxes with one person. And that seems like a dumb thing, and that almost seems like the same point. But actually, it's quite a different one, right? Because then you're realizing that even really well-intentioned people that set themselves a requirement to have a certain level of diversity are like, oh, God, okay, well, we are going to have to fill this with one person, apparently. Anyway, if I drink a coffee and get a Subaru, am I an honorary lesbian? Well, what's funny is I think that it's just is it the Outback? I think there's a lot of Subarus that are actually like, you know, like teenage boy cars. And so that's what makes that stereotype even funnier. But yeah, you are... Also, I killed that husk using a fire aspect sword. Look what he dropped, chat. Look what he dropped. That's a regular potato. And I'll do the same here. I mean, it won't... I'm not going to get a potato again anytime soon. That is proof. I just murdered one, and I didn't get it, which is useful. Had an employee say How I Met Your Father was diverse because they had a British character. Yeah, it is though, right? It is. It seems dumb, but like, when they were making, say, Friends in the 90s, it's like, yeah, you're showing the diversity of New York by having like a weird girl and a guy who works too much and a guy who, you know, like, is a little bit vindictive and honestly not that likable a person. And then just an aspiring actor, you know, who's always late on his rent payments. You know, like, I didn't describe all of the characters, but that is like a type of diversity. And nowadays it's like, well, how do we make sure everyone in the show has someone who is for them? Like, especially now that like the English-speaking world has morphed into one giant market for media. And so in the same way that like movies had to really appeal to the Chinese market when they started watching American movies, now you got to realize that 1/5 of your audience is British. How do you cater for that in a 5-person show? Well, you make one of the characters British, and now all of a sudden, when there's a weird American thing going on, the British person can be like, oh, tipsy doodle, everyone. In Britain, we actually call that You know what I don't get though? I think true, you know, I think true accepting would be like, for example, you know, there are words that are entirely fine to say in the UK that will get me demonetized if I say them here on YouTube. I think it's not very culturally sensitive of the internet to not let me say those words. You should name that potato of an anvil and frame it. maybe. But yeah, I think if you gotta, if you don't actually care about finding knowledge, then I think you're dead already. I think legitimately that's my take, is once you become uninterested in the world, you've become uninterested in life. Once you know how it all works, it's like, okay, back it up. You might as well go home. Tipsy doodle. Yeah, tipsy doodle is what we all say when there's a confusing thing that happens. We're like, oh, tipsy doodle. What's going on over here, love? I don't understand that's my real voice when I'm not putting on my more neutral accent so my American viewers can understand me. I watched so many movies with cookie cutter Russian characters. Ah, yes, a Russian character. I come from cold country. Is brutal dictatorship. I go home, they shoot me. However go, by the way. Yeah, I think that also I'm not going to continue the British accent. Also, Friends under such criticism because they're all white, but it was based on the writer's real experience. Yeah, you know, again, I'm gonna. I think the interesting example of this I always like to bring up is Black Beauty. Not Black Beauty, Pride and Prejudice. Black Beauty was written from a horse's perspective, and I don't think it was written by a horse. So honestly, Black Beauty is a terrible explanation of what it's like to be a horse, because it's not sharing a real horse's emotion about being a horse. It's sharing what humans think it's like to be a horse, and humans have no idea what it's like to be a horse. No, I think Pride and Prejudice only had conversations between women, because the writer, she's famous, Jane Austen, I want to say, she didn't understand. She didn't have enough experience to write meaningful conversations. And I think that having like a diversity of like appearance about diversity of opinion can actually lead to like quite jarring things where it's like, well, people wouldn't be like this, which, you know, it has the upside of like creating a culture that feels more unified, you might argue, but actually I don't think it actually does that to anyone. I think that okay, so I've got a whole shulker box of Neverac. I don't think it's going to make it that far, though. I'm hoping, chat. I'm feeling very hopeful right now. But I think maybe too hopeful for how hopeful I should be. Okay, so let's play some more of these up high. I hope someday to visit. I visit very far away. I go to America using all savings. But I get to America and Americans believe that they, how you say, British people are diverse. I do not understand the diversity. Anyway, so I kept trying to start a Jane Austen fight. I will be a parasocial platonic friend. You know what? Yeah, son. How do I let you know that I would like to date you though? You know, because if I say it out and out, that's embarrassing, right? It's like if I, you know, that's so. What do I do instead? How do I let you know I don't want this to be platonic? I do want it to be platonic, by the way. Thank you for describing that. But how would I let you know if that wasn't my goal? If only I could donate my 90 sugar boxes of Neverack across worlds to you. I think that'd be so fun if there was like a... I guess it's not impossible to do. You just make an add-on that like teleports things between worlds. That's a cool idea for an add-on, actually. You can't do it on the marketplace because you can't use internet functionality. But it's a fun idea anyway. But yeah, I think there are so many questions about the world that you have to ask. Like, I think one of the most, like, fundamentally interesting questions is why do different countries do things their way? You know, even something as simple as, like, I go to America and I find out that when you go to checkout, there is an option to give more money. Why would I pay more money? Do they think I idiots? Do they think I not know what best price is? $20 much cheaper than $24. Why they expect me to pay $24? Do they think I have brain problem? You know, like that's an interesting cultural difference that you can just explain by being like, you know, lazy employers, or you know, or you can explain by being like, well, you know, the minimum wage is too low. And people love easy explanations over actually knowing what the truth is. Toilets pee on you in Russia. I wonder if you have any Russian accents, Street. You speak Russian so well. Da! I get on the metro, and I remember I did take a Duolingo course like years back. For I started the Russian one, and I remembered like because it's such a tricky language to learn. They give you a bunch of like English words that are the same as Russian words, and so it's like da, take metro to get sushi, and you're like, oh, metro and sushi, same words. I think metro is spelt with a funky like N or whatever, one of those Cyrillic letters that I don't get. I don't want to say no one gets it. I'm sure there are people who do. I'm just not one of them. Yeah, I'm learning so much about Russia today, says Wild Bill Miller. Ah, yes, I give very accurate view on Russian society to my non-Russian viewers. See, in Soviet Russia, when someone asks you for money, you give them the amount that they say that they would like. If you give them more money, they assume you are bad at counting, and maybe they take money from you. Maybe they don't. Who's to say? Have you played Papers, Please? I have, actually. It's a lot of fun. It's based on I think it's based on they use a fake place name that's clearly based on a real place name. Yeah, I think I've heard, and I don't even know if it's true, but like the layers of bureaucracy that like communist countries are known for, like deliberately are just complicated to be like, you know, like the more complicated it is, the less you know when something is going according to plan or not. I see that's one of those things I genuinely like to know too. Like a lot of people just, if you're not curious about like communism, if you're not even a little bit like, so why do people decide that is good? You know, like I think a lot of people just go like, oh yeah, it's a bad ideology. Or people go, oh yeah, it's great ideology. Everyone gets what they want. What's not to love there? And asking the question of like, okay, so if a bunch of countries tried this and then failed, what went wrong? It's one of the most fundamental questions as a civilization we haven't become close to answering. And so it's easier just to be like, oh yeah, because it's not good. You know, it's really inefficient actually. It is, you know, kind of relevant as we make decisions about the future of the world, but because it's hard, it makes it less easy. I just returned. Why are we talking about communism? It's because I'm trying to really simulate that never feel right now, and the easiest way to pretend that I am in the never is to talk about communism and then fall to my death. It's the easiest way to do it. East-West Berlin, basically. Yeah, I think that like we can't do it, but it'd be cool if we could do more science experiments on humans. The one I'm like so infused about, but is so unethical, is I wanna separate twins, and I wanna really, you know, test them, you know, raise them in very different environments, see what that does to them. I wanna find people who, you know, I wanna find a twin that's gone through some horrific childhood trauma, and I wanna compare them to a twin who has not, but comes from like a poor family. Like, what's worse, being poor or being beaten? What's worse? You know, like having you know, what's worse? Like, if you're rich but have parents that don't support you, do you have better outcomes than if you are the inverse? You're, you know, working class, but your parents believe in you, they really, you know, do, etc. I don't know the answer, but I would love to know the answer. But we can't do science on humans. There's apparently an ethicality problem to it. Next project, the Iron Curtain. I mean, if you think about it, in my world, I do effectively have that big dividing, you know, like trench. I think building a physical Iron Curtain would be fun, though. You know, this is a great project idea. I don't see why we shouldn't do it. I'm loving the new super flat. Do you think lava will ever come to flat worlds? It's annoying that it hasn't, right? It is very annoying that it hasn't. But yeah, I'm glad you're loving the new flat world. I don't know what you want to describe this as, but I keep thinking about it, chat. Every day, literally at least once a day, I think about, wouldn't it be fun to start a super flat? And then also turn on hardcore, and then also turn on no natural regeneration. And then, I have to like snap myself out of it and be like, no, bad idea. What are you thinking about? What are you doing there? I mean, I guess like hard, no natural regeneration without hardcore would probably make more sense. Being rich resolves most of the problems a human has. May it be financial or material. Yeah, exactly. I want to know, does it though? I don't, because I feel like a lot of my like thought on the fact that it does is like I used to feel a real like resentment for like, oh yeah, some people just get all this, and some people you have to work real hard for it, you know. But you know, if I try to like actually, you know, psychoanalyze myself, I could be like, okay, well, why am I bitter about that? It's because like, okay, because my mother worked very hard to have that. And I'm like, okay, and then why would I be upset that she worked so hard for something? That's like her cool. Presumably she enjoyed it on some level. And I'll be like, you know, if you really try to like question yourself in that same way and question like, why do I feel this way? I think it can help you like understand your own feelings better too. Like, I think it's very hard to actually question yourself objectively. Like, I think we have like an ego we build up around ourselves that is very, very hard to like turn off. It's very hard for me to try and say like I think I've started trying to I think I mentioned this, right, chat? I've started trying to work closer to 40-hour weeks. I think it works out right now at about 45-ish hours a week that I work on YouTube directly, like outside of like doing stuff on my phone or whatever. And I have this innate feeling if I work those 45 hours and I have like a you know, like a weekend off, but something important happens, is like me not dealing with this, me not doing something right now. Me, you know, like if this Minecraft that Minecraft gas video came out, and I'm like, it would be innately lazy of me to not deal with that. And you know, I'm not feeling that because it is lazy. I'm feeling it because something in me is telling me that it is. Or maybe it is lazy, you know, like actually asking that question of yourself is important. Actually asking, like, you know, why am I thinking about, why have I brought up money like 3 times in the last hour? You know, is it healthy for it to be that much in your mind? Because I've always held the view that people who don't think about money often, like, what a luxury that is, right? But like, is it a luxury or is it the norm? And you know, for spending so much of my life thinking about it more often than that, you know, like I mentioned a lot, money is my love language. And it truly is. Like, it's one of your few finite resources. You know, you can say nice words all you like. I did appreciate your nice words, chat. But yeah, spending a second and asking, like, you know, actually, is this the normal thing? Is useful, if hard. Did not know Toy Cat places 123 blocks so far. I'm so tired, so might go to sleep watching Toy Cat talking philosophical. Says Sweet Cat 07. You are a very sweet cat. You are so sweet that I just want to eat you. You should watch out. I might eat you. You are a sweet cat. No subtitles, lame. I was talking about subtitles in a video today, I think. Oh yeah, I was. It was because Minecraft obviously does not have them. But yeah, I finally made it for Alive. Good to see you for Alive, Raising Cane. I love your namesake's restaurant. You know, there are so many things that I think about regularly that are just only available in the US, and it's one of the most disappointing things about the internet is you get to learn about how many things are in America and not in the rest of the world. You know, I'm a mum who started playing just to spend more time with my daughter. I'm now better than she is. You know what? I think EA. Oh, what happened there? I thought my Elytra was dead, but apparently not. I shoot it more as it isn't that important. The way I have more time on my hands to enjoy other things in every day also helps that you do not stress over it. But you get me? Like, isn't it a luxury to say words like that? Also, favorite color sheep, says Candy Love. Did we get somewhere controversial? We should get somewhere controversial on purpose. Okay, so chat. Let's go controversial. I think peanut butter is a really bad substance. I think the only thing I like peanut butter for is making like Asian like style sauces. I like peanuts as like a flavor in a savory dish. Peanut butter sandwiches, absolutely rough. Honestly, even Nutella is on real thin ice. I think Nutella works perfect as a nutty chocolate spread, but the moment you start trying to get Nutella to fill in like, you know, some chocolatey shoes all by its own your behalf, you've messed up. You've lost already. Okay, what other controversial opinion should we have? I make 10 million a year, but I spend double that in forgotten YouTube membership subscriptions. Wow, you spend 20 million a year on forgotten membership subscriptions. Thank you. You're not floppy. That's the one case where forgetting about something is good. I think I've said before, but my biggest fear is being forgotten, internet. My biggest insecurity. You know, like if you try to make me insecure by saying, you know, you have a chicken on your head, I clearly know I don't have a chicken on my head. This is my good friend Pip. He's Pip the chicken. He's doing great. Yeah, sorry, he's Pip the bird. He's not a chicken. Don't you call him that. You call him that again and I'll beat you up. Also, I agree, actually, maybe peanut butter is better in the US. Is that why it's so loved? I have to imagine, Dasher, my theory is that either it's different there, because I've seen, have you ever seen like grocery stores where they'll have like entire aisles of peanut butter? You know, so maybe it's better there, maybe there's more choice fit there. Or, also we're out again, chat. We're gonna go back to the nether. I'm real close now. I'll bring a, also what are these blocks? Oh, they're nether quartz. I am very silly. So let's bring a shulker box. Maybe two with us. Yeah, they're both empty. That way I can really be sure that I'm getting this done correctly. Yeah, I feel like it could be there are peanuts in America. So like it's like a freshness thing. Like have you ever had what's a good example of this? Have you ever had like tropical fruit in a tropical country? It tastes way better. My other favorite example is Aquarius and Pocari Sweat. I don't know if you know it. I don't think those drinks might not be ones you've tried, chat. But if you ever go to an Asian country or even Spain, try them out. Like a really hot country, it is the elixir of life. Aquarius, I was so convinced it was great. I bought a bunch of Aquarius back with me because it brought me so much life. It was tasty, it was refreshing, and sweet. And I put it in my fridge, and I was excited to open one like 2 days later. And so I finally opened up one of these Aquarius drinks, and I'm like, this tastes like bad water. It tastes genuinely like something has gone wrong with the water. And I could not work it out until I realized, oh, yeah, it's the You know, like it's like I think a lot of things have this effect of just where you are makes them better. I think that my favorite example of this actually is McDonald's. McDonald's is seen by I think most North Americans as being like a trash food. Like, you are eating McDonald's because you have to. No one craves McDonald's. Again, maybe that's just the people on the internet being mean. But here it's like a solid, like, oh yeah, you want a decent burger any time of the day? McDonald's. McDonald's is a nice place. It's positioned in a different part of the market. Please don't blow me up. And I think that's hugely interesting. Yeah, I can't help but think of Zodiac with that name. You know what? Who here is an Aquarius? Would you like me to drink you? Also, good to see you, Ad and Sony. Where have you been? Based on my very thorough 30-second search, UK peanut butter is what we call natural peanut butter sent early. Why are we sending our peanut butter early? Do you know, if you want to know a crazy reverse fact, if you want to feel like, oh, there's something crazy about your society that you're missing, blackcurrant is not common at all in the US. So, Skittles, for example, the Skittles in the UK have, the purple one is blackcurrant, but the Skittles in the US, they're grape. And then the same is true for, instead of having lime Skittles, there's, what flavor is it? It's green apple. Which, side note, why'd you have to call it green apple? You know, there's green and purple grapes, but you don't say red grape or purple grape. Just a small aside there. Man, I want to get something green apple flavored after this. I love apple flavor. I also, you know, it's the problem actually. My debate that will run for as long as time exists is the best bit about the North American Skittles is the green apple, but blackcurrant Skittles are the best color. So you can't have both best colors. You'd have to buy a bag of both, pour them in a bowl together, and then sort out the best ones from both, which I might have to do at some point, actually. You know, if I do it in a YouTube short, is it a tax write-off, chat? I adore blackcurrant, especially the smell. Yeah, same. It's like, to me, blackcurrant has like, this is one of those silly things, like how people say like, they could drink like Sprite if they get sick and it'll heal them. Blackcurrant genuinely feels like it makes me better in some way. I don't know what it is. It's got that like medicinal property to it. I'm amazed at how many like flavors like work despite the fact that, because medicinal, if you really think about it, just means bad. No one's ever like, oh yes, medicine. There's no medicine flavored ice cream that I know of. That's an idea though. Chat, I would love to start a. You know how like some YouTubers used to have coffee companies back before people realized what they were doing with them. I would love to start an ice cream company and just do silly flavors. I think that's a place I could thrive in business, which is why I'm precisely not doing it. Because if I think I'm gonna thrive, I'm definitely not going to. Anyway, though, wait, where'd I pick up all these extra Nevercord saws? Gala apples are so good. I want a Gala apple flavored candy. I watched a video about apples and I learned that they grow all over the US and there's like 35 varieties. And I was like, I've only ever seen or tried like 2. I think I need to go to like an apple. This has to exist somewhere, right? Like a place that has all of the apple varieties so I can try them. Same with grapes, actually. There's foods that you don't realize have as much variety. You just assume it is one food type, and then you get into it and you're like, oh no, there's a world of food types here. Okay, so let's now get back up above. I think it's 86 I want to be at. I'll just go up to 88, and I'll destroy my way into here and see if I can't find that big lair. If I can't, it's a good sign it doesn't exist. Okay, so this was a silly tunnel to make. Let's go back this way. Oh, I haven't placed the big bridge yet. There it is. So we'll get that gas to go away. Looks like I've succeeded there. Then I'll waste a firework. Have to use a lot of these today. No, and I'm not even gonna get it done. Ugh. Apples are cool as heck. Chat, if I can try one apple flavor, what apple flavor should it be? Again, assuming I've tried, I like Golden Delicious the most as a kid. Some people say Golden Delicious isn't delicious. I'd like to point you to the name. which actually, you know, based on the if you have to say you're king, you're not king. Logically speaking, they are not delicious. I'll concede. But yeah, where should I? What apples should I try? If I go on an apple binge, like we often do, I don't often apple binge. I don't know if anyone eats apples for any fun things. What other fun drinks did you have recently besides my zodiac sign? Hey, you're an Aquarius, Dasher. That means you were born. That's my sentence. You know, factually accurate, I assume. I mean, I assume you weren't delivered by stork. You know, in the lore that storks deliver babies, are there people giving birth to them? Or do the storks go to, like, some far-off baby land, and it's like an import-export business? If so, are the storks human trafficking? Like, to bring, you know, like, human beings across country lines that way? That does feel a little bit messed up. I think someone should give the storks a good reminder of the law. You know, let them know about their allowances. Honeycrisp is the classic best apple, but Lobo apples are my favorite. Honeycrisp is the science apple because it's modified to be perfect. It will be your favorite. So if there is a perfect apple, why is everyone not eating Honeycrisp apples? Can I get Honeycrisp apples? You know, let me sit in a little corner real quick. Honeycrisp apples UK. Honeycrisp apples UK. I can get Cosmic Crisp. I can get M&S Smitten apples. I can get Honey Crunch apples. Which of those three sounds closest to correct? I'm gonna guess it's Smitten apples. No, this is the dumb thing about brand names. Can I take a second and pet peeve here? I really like what we've done with agriculture in the last, you know, like 5,000 years as a civilization. Very proud of us for, you know, like organizing ourselves that way. Also, yeah, they're expensive. So which one? Like, do you think £2 for 4 feels about right? Or £2.75 for 4 for Honey Crunch? So Honey Crunch or Smitten apples? Those are the only flavors I've got. Those are the... Oh, Cosmic is... It's from a weird site I don't know. Oh, it's called Waitrose and Partners. I don't know what that is. Sadly. There's like 20 kinds of good apples. Yeah, but if there's one good apple, you know? Like, you know, there's... Like, if you were to ask me, like, oh, hey, Toy Cat, what's a good version of Minecraft? I'd be like, there's 3 good versions of Minecraft. I mean, like, 5 good versions of Minecraft. But then if you were like, oh yeah, I've only got 3 weeks left to live, and I want to get the most Minecraft in that I can. I just wanted to make sure I'm making the right call for real. Then I would say, okay, you know, okay, under those circumstances, maybe actually it's best that you just jump aboard the Bedrock version. It'll be easiest, etc., etc. You can play it with the most input methods. Where you know, like you know, if when you're in a hospital bed, I bet Bedrock is easy to play. When you're in prison, Bedrock's much easier to play. You know, you got your PlayStation 4 in there, or whatever. It's gonna work just great. Wait, chat. Is anyone here been to prison? That's a fun one. Statistically, you'd assume yes. But I don't know. I come across as pretty anti-crime in my videos. So, you know, as we all know, criminals are pretty pro-crime. You know, stop right there, criminal scum. $2.60 per each is how much you spend on a Honeycrisp here. So you think they're probably fake. Also, yeah, when I was managing a famously expensive store, I charged 5 Honeycrisp apples for $20. You were so offended you told the cashier to discount it. That $4 an apple? Why are they so expensive? What's the... Also, Wild Bill Miller says yes. What did you go to prison for? Criminals lie and would say no. Damn, someone, you're right. Criminals would lie and say no. I bet all of you went to prison. If you were really committed to not being criminals, you would tell me the truth right now. My grandpa was in prison for tax evasion, if I recall correctly. I think there's a really interesting world of like tax authorities often have like some of the like most far-reaching powers on certain things, and I think it's one of the most interesting like societal lines we draw. Because in a way, we're effectively saying, and I'm not even saying it's a wrong line, I think it's probably what most people would eventually agree, that like depriving, you know, the government, the state, the whatever, of revenue, of its ability to do its job, is the worst thing you can do. It's kind of like how, you know, lying to a police officer who's trying to investigate a crime is a very serious crime in its own right, perverting the course of justice. Also, have you been to jail, Toy Cat? Oh no, Jeffy, you Uno reversed me. I've been to detention centers. I've been to I went to the detention room of about 2 or 3 different places now. Once in Canada, twice in the US. Weirdly, nowhere else. I haven't done a lot of Middle East traveling yet. I hope that now I'm like about to be 30, that people will assume that I am safe. But that's where I get them. That's when I commit the crimes. Isn't Alcatraz in NYC near the Statue of Liberty? Sweet Cat 07, I hate to tell you, you're wrong. It's in San Francisco near the Statue of Dinks. Anyway, the state frowns upon unlicensed street pharmacists, I found out. Dude, dubious. I don't know why they wouldn't like that. You're clearly doing your bit for the community. You're helping the people who need their medicine. Why? How could the government possibly have an issue with that? If anything, they should be thanking you for lowering their healthcare costs. You know, SMH, governments these days, don't appreciate what they've got while they've got it. So yeah, we're gonna have to place some of the Nevrank we just got here, but I think it's worthwhile because it makes this little section just a little bit more complete, and that is a big deal to me. So and once we've done that, we can probably build the rest out from here because it's just 1 block up at a time. So once we've done that, we can just carve out all the rest of these blocks. I shouldn't have placed the block down there. I have to now destroy it just to keep things solid. Anyway, yeah, also I put someone in prison. Oh, Polly E, how many people have you put in prison? I'm sorry if this is the how many people have you shot question for military people. But, yeah, how many people have you put in prison? Is there anyone that's in prison right now where you're like, well, they broke the law. You feel like they shouldn't, but they did. I bet that's a complicated one. So, yeah, I've apparently been in prison, but I have no memory because I was like 2. I hate to tell you, but they don't send 2-year-olds to prison. I think maybe your parents are over-describing the naughty step to you. I think maybe they've been giving you some very vivid images of what was in reality a very mild place. You know, chat. Where did is that a thing anymore? I don't know. Maybe I just haven't been around children enough. But I don't think that I've seen. Again, maybe I guess that's literally it. It's like I'm not in them. Like, is there like such thing as like timeout steps, or is it exclusively like you don't get your devices for 2 hours until you start crying and I, you know, get bored? Yeah, is there does that exist anymore, or are we like done with the concept because everyone's like sedated all the time? You know, I'm gonna re-hot take it, chat. I'm gonna say it again. I think that at some point in our lifetimes we're gonna look at like unrestricted, you know, like access to social media as being like basically the same as smoking. We're gonna be like, yep, it has the same effects. It is probably not a good thing, but you know, we all just did it. We're all just complicit in this strange, weird world we're in. So let's put that in there and take these blocks out. Naughty step is very real. I still see it in families. Oh, that's good to learn that I'm not out of touch. Again, I guess like I've never raised a kid, chat. I don't know if that surprises you that the man wearing a chicken on his head has yet to rear a child. But yeah, I think why is it called child rearing? Surely it should be like child fronting. Like you're getting in front of their future or whatever. My 3-year-old gets the naughty step. We don't do devices besides TV. And to get TV time removed, it has to be related to the TV. Ah, that's good. You have to mess up the TV to lose your TV time. Oh no, that still exists. By the way, Corcoran, thank you so much for becoming the 412th channel member. I was just saying that becoming a member is good. Thank you for doing precisely that. Social media isn't as addicting, I don't think, as cigarettes. Oh no, I think it's more addicting than cigarettes. I think that's my... Like, we haven't done enough studies yet. But I think genuinely, especially like really short form stuff. So like tweets, Instagram Reels, TikToks, whatever. I think there's something about you can just get one more. That's, I guess gambling is a better, if we're trying to make the point. But I think social media is a lot like gambling, because it literally is, right? You don't know what you're gonna get. Are you gonna get the cute video of the puppy eating soup, or are you gonna get the video of the person being run down in the street? Or are you gonna get the thing that inflames your feelings about the world? You don't know which you're gonna get. So Cat smoking a blunt stream at 420 members. I don't know what I meant to say, so I'm obviously talking hypothetically. But if my street pharmacist were to prescribe that to me, then I think I'm too paranoid a person. Like I just break. I get anxious and paranoid, and I don't get any of the good feelings from it. Usually, I just get the only good feeling that I get from my street pharmacist is hungry, and that's because I like food. And it's like, well, I can just overeat anyway. I don't need the permission. You know, I can overeat right now, chat. I could order a pizza right here, right now. I could order a lobster roll. World can't stop me. Bet it would be great. But I'd have a wonderful time if I ordered a lobster roll. I've been smoking for like 8 years, but I quit Instagram because I didn't have it under control, whereas I do with smoking, says Mike Bailey. Yeah, that's hugely interesting to hear. I think I mean I would make the argument. Again, everyone makes their own calls on where, what, how, why, etc. But I would argue like the only real way to truly have smoking under control is like either zero or like purely socially, right? Anything less is like, I guess, yeah, you're managing a bad thing. You're stemming the tide, you know, you're stopping the bleeding, but you're not starting the recovery. Tell your street pharmacist you want indica, not sativa. Just to clarify, I haven't bought from a street pharmacist ever. Actually, no, I have. When I was like 14, I met a very bouncy guy, and he was like, oh yeah, we're just going to meet my friend, and then we went to meet his friend, and he was a street pharmacist, and it was one of those weird things, because the weird bit about it is like everyone knows everyone else in the transaction. Like in a normal business, like I guess in normal businesses, you understand that when you go to Sainsbury's and they sell you a bottle of Coke for £2, that they bought that bottle of Coke for less than £2, right? I shouldn't use Coke as an example. Pepsi. Because street pharmacists might actually sell you the name brand stuff. Yeah, I think I think the if I were to say that you know, if I were to make a value judgment, everyone understands when you go to the store that the store is buying products for less than they sell it to you, and they kind of get it. But when it comes to your friends who have decided to take up an illegal profession, everyone just assumes like, oh yeah, well everyone knows that a gram costs this amount, or an ounce if you are non-metrically minded, and that's just what it costs the entire way down the chain. But obviously people aren't, you know, committing themselves to doing extremely imprisonable crimes just to do a favor to you. They're not buying the bags and the supplies and going out of their way to meet you on bridges just to... And so either their definition of a gram becomes different to yours, you know, you actually get 0.8 grams by the time you're done, or maybe the other way to make sure that you don't do that is you just, instead of getting a full, you know, gram or whatever of a thing, you get a full gram, but it's of something else. Just pro tips right here. See, also you can become a street pharmacist yourself if you play Schedule 1. Schedule 1 sounds fun. I'm guessing that's named after the drug schedules and, or well, not schedules, the way they categorize drugs in the US. Fun name, fun name. I am getting very badly murdered right now, chat. So let's stop the murder real quick. Okay. But yeah, isn't it kind of fun that randomly in the midst of my little project, I have to now deal with these piglins? Sometimes it's annoying, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let them attack the piglin, and then that'll deal with my problems. Just attack this guy. Okay, they're not interested in doing that. Just got here. We talking about the logistics of being a drug dealer? Yeah. I mean, if you say it like that, Mr. Visit Winchester, it sounds pretty weird. But we're having a very normal conversation about the. Again, if you just say like, "Oh yeah, drugs are bad," then you know drugs are bad until one day your friend says, "No, they're not," and you go, "Well, you seem like a more credible source than Mr. Stancil." But if you actually like talk about it and you say, "Okay, so here is the business model for these people. Everyone accepts that a price is a price, but everyone wants to make money. So there's only a few ways to do that, and each of those ways is less desirable for you, the end consumer. You hope that your guy is just lying to your face and not lying behind your back, and you know, poisoning you indirectly. But yeah, so yeah, I don't think I've ever bought from a street man myself. I've been near people who have done it a lot of times. I remember a term. I don't know if this is still the term, but it was like, let's raise for a deal. Was the one that like always people were saying, right? Like, man, we need to raise so we can get a deal. I remember just being in a room of people who were all in desperate need of a deal, and just every like zombies, every 30 seconds, someone would just be like, we need to raise so we can get a deal. I might be mixing up but it was like, it was the most ridiculous thing. Also, Jaden Ogden, thank you for remembering. How are you doing, Jaden? Would you like to buy some drugs? I promise that I'm selling them to you for the same price I bought them for myself. Am I allowed to say in a live stream to a subscriber, would you like to buy some drugs? You know, that might be ethically dubious. Jaden, would you like to get some medicinal vibes? Yeah, that's about as much as I can say, I think. Hope you're doing well. I don't like eating cat hair. No one likes eating cat hair except cats. So now we'll place these blocks down here. I don't know why they're not there to begin with, but it's kind of silly if you ask me. Or I could place like every other one. Make it look a bit like a prison. You know, this is where you'll go if you deal drugs, or if you say you're going to deal drugs in the live stream to your subscribers. I love the video if you're in Canada where you go to a weed shop, then immediately cut to a McDonald's and get loads of food. Dopamine is a drug. He paid for pig step. You know, real talk, I do think one of the opinions I've come around to thinking on recently, because it's really easy to feel superior for not smoking or not, I don't know, having a drug habit or something. But I'm gonna give a hot take right now, chat. Are you ready for a hot take? Because you're getting a hot take. I think that we all are actually addicted to something. Even if it's something as mild as food, there are still things that you rely on in the outside world for happiness. And I think that, you know, like the point of that quote from earlier of being happy with what you have, the whole point of it is to realize that the whole world is outside of your control, and you'll never be happy if you're reliant on the world. You can only ever, you know, rely on what is inside of you. That's the only thing you can like consistently recreate and consistently have. And it's something interesting to think about, that actually most of us aren't at that point. I'm not at that point. I think genuinely, I mentioned the word lobster a lot, and I was like, if I had a lobster, I'd be happy right now. If I had one of those Honeycrisp apples that are formulaically, that they've been scientifically calculated to be the tastiest apple, I think I'd be happier right now. Why don't I have one of those apples, chat? I think that food is an addiction to me. I also think an addiction to me is like, I think I have a mild addiction to like, just staring at maps blankly and imagining going places. I think I spend at least half an hour a day just wanting to do that. I'm addicted to huffing spray paint. Wait, why are all the other replies about mundane things? I mean, you know, huffing spray paint, really, really good for making sure that you won't be addicted to it for long. That's like, you know, like, it's like the piglin earlier. He had a very short amount of trauma, thanks to me. You have a lifelong addiction, though, I guess, actually. If we reword that another way, you usually get a lifelong addiction to huffing chemicals from a canister. So I guess that's the pro-con side of things. I mean, I guess the pro-con side of any drug would be, you know, like the side where you do them because you have to be a convict to do them. Great joke. Okay, so we should obviously just live our lives in hedonistic ways. Yeah, it is kind of an interesting one. If like, once you learn that you're addicted to something all the time, should you just find the things that are most fun to be addicted to, or not? It's kind of the ultimate discussion underneath the whole money thing. Because on a pure, if you were to treat yourself like a human robot, you treat yourself like a meat bag. So is this meant to be 5 blocks or 4 blocks? I don't think I can afford to get it wrong. So we'll just run through here, this way a little bit. Yeah, if you think of yourself as just being a meat bag you've got to pilot in the optimal way, then spending money on any non-necessity in your first 40-ish years of life is dumb. Because compounding interest has such a powerful effect. For every, like, £1 you save when you're, I don't know, like, 20, it's worth, like, 4 by the time you're 80. Even after inflation. It's like 10 if you don't consider inflation. Okay, so it's 1, 2... So it's 5 blocks. Thank God I checked. Actually, wait. Yeah, that's 5 blocks too. I'll confirm this side is 5 blocks too, because I'm not sure it is. I think I might have made a horrible mistake in here somewhere, chat. So break this block, get up. Break this block, get up. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's 5 blocks both sides. Easy enough to work with. I'm addicted to telling Xavier what I'm doing. What are you doing? I'll be your Xavier. You tell me what you want to do. Also, Dasher says you mentioned food, and I immediately become hungry. I get the impression a growing number of Toy Chat viewers here are like, you know, I come to the Toy Cat stream, I get hungry, and then I enjoy the food more. Am I not just being your street pharmacist, internet? Am I not effectively giving you a good dose of... I mean, I'm giving you the same topics you'd have if you were on, you know, the street stuff. Like, hey man, what if we're all like addicted to something in our own way, dude? Like, what if when you think about it, we're all just criminals and we just haven't been caught yet, man? You know, do we not all do bad things anyway? Yeah, I think the one valuable thing about the joke of like the high discussion, it's like if you actually like, I think putting aside your, again, the hard thing that I've been trying to describe this whole time of like, it's really important to put aside what answer you want to get and try and actually think about the answer that is true. And I think that, okay, so 1 hit KO. Is there more of him? There's not. We're good. I think the easiest way to actually seek truth is to put aside your own biases and judgment and stuff. But that's like near impossible to actually do. Like if I tried to describe to you the summer drop, for example, if I tried to describe the summer drop to you about my own biases, it's really hard. My bias is, man, what a tiny update this is. Like they've got 4 features or something. But if I try to put it aside, I'm like, okay, well, lots of people are liking it, which is a sign that a lot of people don't care about the number of features. They care about the quality of each, etc., etc. But still, when I describe the update, I'm going to say it has 4 features. Even though to some people the number isn't important, because to me it is. Even if I try to put aside my bias, I'll still be describing it to you unbiasedly from my biased perspective. And hopefully you can see that I am trying. Also, fueling your addiction right now. Oh, I'm gonna buy so much food. You're gonna find me overdosed on food, Polly E, and you're gonna be like, man, what have I done? There's gonna be a big pile of lobster rolls next to me. There's gonna be a pizza on the side, and my stomach's gonna be exploded. I don't know if that happens. Can you overeat to death? Like, I have to imagine there's a level where you can, but can you reasonably overeat to death? Because I start throwing up like quite a long time before I get like unable to eat. Anyway, thank you very much, Polly E. How are you doing? I hope. Wow. I hope you don't arrest me for my addiction. I'm addicted to battling for the attention of the stranger on playing Minecraft on a battlefield filled with 300 combatants, says Floppy. You know, the funny thing, Floppy, is I think that, you know, the happiness in that scenario that I think a lot of people reach is like just saying like, oh yeah, it's not that every message needs to be read, but you know, I need to enjoy saying the messages. If you get attention, again, just imagining that you want attention real bad, just gonna make that assumption for a minute. But if attention is your goal, right? If that's your internal goal, man, I really need to get a crossbow just for these moments. But yeah, if we just, come on, if we just imagine that is your goal, it's because it's an external goal. You have no control of whether I get your attention or not. You have no control of whether I have a ghast fight and now I can't talk to you. And so, you know, if you just enjoy your messages, maybe that's better. I start throwing up way before. Have you tested this yourself? I mean, like, I throw up before I'm trying to... Like, I can eat a pretty normal dinner. And if I had a lunch that was pretty big too, then it's like, well, that's not all fitting in there. Or like a milkshake will get me to the limit. I remember that one case where someone had 12 kilograms of noodles or something. No way you can eat 12 kilograms of noodles. I guess if you ate it small and then made it expand in your stomach. But then that's just a form of suicide by noodle, right? Like, we don't say that if you jump in front of a train, it's like, wow, the train killed him. It's like, no, he killed himself with the train. Trains are so dangerous. They kill like 60 people a year. Is not what we say, because the train isn't killing the person. The person is killing themselves with the train. Whereas I want to know if, like, let's just say I get really into delivery. I order some Chinese, some pizza, a lobster roll, 2 lobster rolls because they're on deal, some bubble tea. You know, can I conceivably order it from enough restaurants that eventually eating it all will kill me, without my body like literally shutting down before I can? This is why is the pain and pleasure part of the brain connected? The best explanation I've heard for why pain and pleasure are connected is because one of the most important parts of the human experience as we know it is exploration. Or what you might call like discovery or experimentation, whatever you want to say. But if you think about how many different places humans live, like we live in such a crazy array of places. Like there are human beings who are alive and, you know, kicking strong in Africa. There are human beings living on Greenland, and we're the same species. So one of the most important things in our like evolutionary coding is like we need to try new things, even when those things are kind of stupid. I've heard it's even more common in, again, this is one of those like, ooh, it feels like forbidden knowledge, but I think testosterone specifically really causes those things to like link in an even more crazy way. Because if you take a risk and you die, there's probably more humans where you came from. If you take a risk and you discover something new, you can now present that discovery to the rest of the species. Like we are, if you really like take a minute to think about it, it's like, yeah, whenever something is found out by humans, it's really not that long till the rest of us find out. It's the reason why most conspiracy theories that rely on everyone, like 5 people knowing things and the rest of us not, are so dumb. And it's why it's so hard to actually keep a secret. Because we are like naturally designed to like find things and then tell people about those things we've just found. And we are willing to take some silly risks to do it. Because yeah, you know, sure it hurts, but then, you know, you be done with it and it's like, oh yeah, that feels good to have tried something new and for it to have worked. But I ain't spending any time in it because in the meantime, every 3 months, a person is torn to pieces by a crocodile in North Queensland. Oh, it's the Bobcat. I think if he's not Bobcatter, he's from the Bobcatter party. Yeah, it's the guy who goes smiley, sad, like an NPC, right? I've seen that clip too, Adam Sony. I have seen that clip as well. What do you think happens after we die, Toy Cat, says Jeffy. What I do know is after we die, there is no more of us. There is just the memories we have created. That's the one real thing we leave behind. I was thinking about, so I mentioned recently, I've been reading a book about, like you know, weirdly, it's a book about money. It's like it's the psychological side of money, more or less, is the simplest way to describe it. And one of the things that it kind of mentions is like, actually, if you really think about humans, all we do, the only thing that we actually buy, because if you buy stuff, the stuff eventually breaks, or you give it away, or you sell it, or you never own a thing forever, besides maybe a house, which you own for a lifetime. But most things you own eventually you stop owning. So the only things that you really ever own for the entirety of your lifetime are memories. The only things that you can actually... That's why people love experiences. You're buying memories that are pretty powerful and strong. And so, from that perspective, you know, if you can only ever buy memories and stuff, the entire purpose of our life is to collect memories. The entire job we do from start to end is to collect the memories. And so really the most fitting thing is that when you're gone, the only thing you leave, besides, you know, your possessions minus some inheritance tax, the only thing you leave behind is the memories that you created. You know, I thought about that recently, chat. I was like, someone died in my life not that long ago. And I was like, because I was thinking recently about like, oh yeah, I went out with some friends that really wanted to go crazy hard drinking. We got there and they're like, 3 shots. And it's like, okay, it's one of those evenings, is it? Yeah, I was thinking like, oh yeah, you're doing someone a service when you have some drinks of them, if you go to the same street pharmacist as them, or you know, when you go through an experience of someone, negative, broadly just as much as positive, you're like doing something for them. And I was like, you know, eventually, you know, eventually someone dies, and you can't ever do that for them again. And it was like a fun, like, oh yeah, you could, you know, if it feels like a hard thing to do in the moment, maybe it's worth it. Well, what about dementia? I think that's what makes dementia so devastating, though, right? Is because you've lost everything. You've lost the essence of what made you a person over all those years. If you're lucky, you regress to how you were as a child. But usually you're like, your whole personality just falls apart, right? You become like a broken DVD. The data's all corrupted. It's disastrous. But yeah, our second death is the last time anyone remembers us. Yeah, that's a phrase I buy a lot of. Your first death is the moment they bury you, and the second death is the last time someone says your name. Isn't that interesting though? Like, really, if you try to think about what it is to be remembered, it is a hard task. It is ludicrously hard. Like, really think about it. How many people do you know who were born, who died 100 years ago? And you could probably name a dozen. How many people do you know who died in the 1500s, or lived in the 1500s, let's say? You might know 3 or 4 really famous, like the King of England or the Pope or someone, right? So then try and think, like, how many people do you know from the year 200 to 300? That entire 100-year period where millions of people lived. I think your answer is 0 or 1. For me, it's 0. I could guess one of the Roman emperors, maybe, but I don't even know much about them. I just know their name, if they're in that time period. The amount being remembered is a really hard task. Come drink with me. I'm a lightweight, so when we're done, you can brag about drinking a Russian. You know, actually, though, Dasher, because you're Russian, I want to take your lightweight comment. I want to dig into it. Because the problem with the concept of lightweight, in my opinion, I think, so if you don't know, chat, there is a metric system for alcohol. It's called units. So because alcohol by volume is really easily measured. That is to say, there is such a thing as pure alcohol, and there is a thing as non-pure alcohol. If you were to extract out a beer, 4% of it is alcohol, 96% is not. Right? Everyone knows alcohol by volume. It's a really simple measure. So if you multiply the alcohol by volume by, what would it be? Let me do the maths. By 2.5, then every liter of that substance you drink is worth that many units. So every liter of beer is worth 10, and every liter of vodka is worth 100? No, 40. Wait. No, yeah, every liter of beer is 4 units. Every liter of vodka is 40. So you just... Yeah, anyway, it's the percent times the number of liters gives you the units. There is like an objective way to measure alcohol. I used to be really strict myself about that. Because as a teenager, you just want to... You just drink whatever's in front of you. But I wanted to actually, like... I wanted to know when I was drinking more than I'd ever had before. Both so I don't do it if I don't want to, or so I at least know I'm doing it and don't way overdo it. And then I could find like a nice happy point. I was kind of like being a scientist experimenter on myself. Speaking of alcohol, let's break out the Midori. Man, I would love to have some Midori. I've got. You can tell this is a sign I've hit my my midlife internet. I've got a couple bottles of wine I need to drink that are like really, really tasty bottles. Would love to have some tasty wine right now. And alcohol unit is 10 milliliters of pure alcohol. Thank you, Ronstar308. So yeah, 10 milliliters of pure alcohol is 1 unit. If you drink a beer, you only get that every 250 milliliters you drink, because 96% isn't. If you drink vodka, 40% is. So for every 25 milliliters you drink, it's 15 milliliters of not alcohol, 10 milliliters of alcohol. So you can actually objectively measure how much alcohol do you need by using the unit system. And it stops people from overdrinking, or allows you to overdrink specifically. But yeah, yeah, Dasher. What? How many unit equivalents? If 1 shot of vodka is 1 unit, how many? Again, I'm making a stereotypical assumption of your drink of choice. I get tipsy after 2 0.5 milliliter cans of 7% cider. So a liter of 7% cider. That's the equivalent of drinking 7 units. So about 7 shots of vodka. Wait, only tipsy though? Oh my god. Wow. That's so... Yeah, so I feel like... it's been a while since I've like actually measured. I misspoke, the cans are both 500 ml. Oh yeah, I assumed they weren't half 1 milliliter between them. How do you actually feel about turning 30 from an old feeling 24-year-old? Thank you, Visit Winchester. It's a good question. Yeah, I'm having a crisis about it. There are some things in my life that I'm gonna be locked out of doing permanently now. You know, like there are things that are just not logical to do anymore once you turn 30. And I don't know, I start to feel a little bit of like, well, I've either done them or I've not at this point. And now that means I have to like really start thinking about the clock going forwards. What things do I have to do before I am 35? What things do I have to do before I am 40? I need to make sure I get them done. Like, sometimes I think to myself, like, oh, it'd be nice to, like, go to one of those, like, country, like a big country manor, and just, like, spend a weekend hanging out. And I think to myself, like, no, I can do that when I'm 50. I mean, assuming I make it to 50. But I can, you know, like, if I want to do, I want to go to Antarctica at some point, for example. And it's like, okay. So is that a risky thing, or is that a when I'm 40 thing? I want to go to quite a few. I want to go to South America quite badly, chat. But I think I need to find the sweet spot of going where I don't look like I'm a kidnapping target. It's hard. You have to think about this stuff a lot. I have a couple of friends and coworkers who are 31. They seem to be okay. I think you'll be fine. No, but that's the thing, right? They're okay. You're like, oh, you're doing fine. It's like, but I don't want to be fine. I want to be the best you can be. I also don't have net rank. Perfect. Bring that home, and this should get me across the line. What things are you locked out of after 30, says Dan Mahoney. I think the easiest example would be now if I go to a if you go to like a youth hostel. Well, first of all, actually, when you're 30, I'm gonna lose access to a bunch of working holiday visas, so I won't be able to just decide I want to live in Japan anymore, or I want to live in South Korea, or I want to live in Australia. I think Australia's actually upped it to 35. But there's, I think Canada might be capped at 30 still. So I can't just decide I want to live in Canada starting 2 months from now. So that's a huge one, right? That's literally just a matter of statement, like, did that guy have 2 swords, by the way? I think I need to watch the stream back. I think I let me just go back a few seconds. Sorry I can't share it with you. I'm very low tech. I think that guy had 2 swords, chat. I went back and I checked. I recently got recommended a YouTube short from a mother of 5 at 31. I'll never be a mother of 5 at 31. I mean, oh yeah, no. I don't think it's possible either. You can follow in your father's footsteps. So what steps has my father been taking that I should follow in? What, you can't get working holiday visas after 30? That makes no sense to me. Yeah, you know, it's because the idea is meant to be you're young, you come check out a country, and then, you know, like you either commit to the country or you leave. Whereas once you get to like 30, you start having commitments. I think it kind of messes around a bit that now we, you know, like people, what's the word for this? Like we kind of are, like society is growing older slower. You are 25 and you probably have just finished education, whereas previously you might have a 4-year-old child and a 2-year-old and a stable job where you're a manager or whatever. I'm 34 and honestly feel like I'm enjoying my 30s more than my 20s. Oh, no, So, the one thing, Dan Mahoney, I will say, I think the cool thing about being almost 30 is I'm starting to think the world is being made for me now. I think that because I am hitting my peak consumer ability, that is to say I have probably the best balance between, like, time, money, and ability I will ever have. Oh, there's a camel there. Like, when you're in your 20s, you have a bunch of time, but, you know, maybe, and all of the ability, but usually not that much money. When you're 50, when you're 70, you've got literally an infinite pool of cash to burn. Like, you've got all of your life's savings, assuming that you saved anything. And then the government will send you money and your job will send you money. Especially right now if you're 70. You probably get your salary given to you as a pension. So you got, like, all the money you will ever have. Whether that's a lot or a little depends on who you are, I guess. But you've got, like, not that much ability. And so even though you've got time, like, you can travel for, like, 3 hours a day and then you get tired and you just want to give up on it, right? I made a joke about being an absentee father. Yep. I think I regret not being an absentee father. I can't have that experience anymore. Of if I'd have just had a child 10 years ago, I would have been entirely fine. Like, I know it's, you know, like now, you know, if I drop a child out there now, the person has, you know, like it doesn't work. I can't do it. It's been locked off from me. And even if I do, you know, if I had just been an absentee father at 20, I'd have a 10-year-old I could just go meet at any point in my life. You know, that's a seed I forgot to plant. You know, and now I can't plant that seed. Or if I do, it'll be like 50 by the time that they're like able to play video games with me. What? Are we gonna play video games when I'm 50, or am I gonna be the sort of 50-year-old who's into like woodworking or, you know, like being angry at the world? So, when you turn 30, you start to not care about certain things, which is great. So, but like, so my point is, I think your 30s are a real sweet spot, probably. But, so I love that the world is like, also like, because you are in that sweet spot, the world markets everything to you. Like, you know, like BMW wants you to buy their cars. The Sonic movie wants you to laugh at their movie. Because eventually you'll decide whether your kids are going to watch Sonic movies with you. You know, like, everything in the world starts to be aimed at you when you're about 30, and that's cool. You know, I would even say, I'm getting to the point, I'm like, oh yeah, governments need to buy my vote soon. You know, like, 20-year-olds don't vote. You can vote when you're 18, but people just don't. Governments are actually having to start thinking, like, oh, if this person's not happy, maybe we won't be in government in 5 years' time, you know? So they gotta make me think that they're doing a good job. I hope that you're still playing Minecraft when you're 50 and your content reflects your age in a good way. Can I not talk about my street pharmacists when I'm 50? You know, I'll still be talking about my street pharmacists when I'm 50. Video games don't care how old you are. No. Okay, so this is this is your first sign of what I'm talking about of like ability going down. I am just, if I pick up a new game, especially like, there's some genres that are like twitchy than others. But like if I just play Call of Duty now, I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't the fun bits of like having to think about something fast, do something. It's just not fun to me anymore. I like a nice slow-paced game. The closest thing I have to it is like Trackmania, like racing style games. And even then, like the average audience for those is older because you don't have to make a lot of decisions in racing games. You have to know when to corner, and you can think as much as you like. But it's like there's preset moments you have to make big decisions. It's kind of crazy. Also, if you're British, our voting system is something you haven't experienced. Who is our voting system? I have experienced our voting system, the British one. I've actually voted in 4 elections. No, 3 elections. No, 4 elections and a referendum now. Which is crazy to think about, like, if I've been voting for 12 years to have gone through 4 once every 5-year elections. Thank you, Robin, for becoming a channel member. Welcome to the Cool Cat Club. My 30s haven't been good, have been good so far, but I'm freaking out. I have a teenager soon, but I grew up early. I feel like I felt in my 30s since my early 20s. You felt in your 30s since your early 20s. Ruby Doo, I'm trying to think about that. By the way, good to see you. I know you've been here the whole stream, but I feel like I have to say that when someone's a regular. Although now if I say it to every regular, someone's gonna be like, am I not a regular to you, Toy Cat? Yeah, there are some people where I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like I see this name a lot. But like not all the time, but is that me or is that you? Like Jonathan Pulling, oh, I missed your comment. No, I have no Civ COD, but I've noticed I have little patience for learning complicated games. Sorry, Hearts of Iron, I just don't have the time to commit to learning you. Oh, yeah, I think, for what it's worth, Dan Mahoney, that's 100% true. Like, I want a game to teach me quickly and then let me play it. But I think that's a time thing. Like, now my time is under more pressure, than it has been before. Like, I think I have slightly less focus time that I can drop in a week. And also I have like other activities vying for my time. You know, so I've got to be like, no, you don't get to decide. You're taking all of my time unilaterally. Hearts of Iron 4 or whatever. Like tell me why this is a fun game and let's start playing it. 20 with a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old. I'm gonna be functionally above all of you guys forever. Yeah, but Ad and Sony, are you gonna miss out on your 20? You know, I shouldn't do this to a parent, but I'm gonna do it anyway because you seem very comfortable with being the mother of 14 living in the woods. I think so. The real thought I've had, internet, if you want me to share a little deep here, is that basically everything is easier in your 20s, and then everything's easy enough in your 30s, and then it like goes downhill. But it's like, yeah, how do you decide what's most important to start with? Like, you know, like you can only focus on your career once. Do you want to do it early or do you want to wait till after? You know, like, I guess what I'm saying is life is like fundamentally a sequencing problem. It's like a speed run. Do you go to the Nether before you've got your blaze rods sorted? Or is that stupid? Do you have to get your blaze rods sorted? Sorry, I guess. Do you go to the Nether before you've got your armor sorted? And it's like, well, if you go to the Nether with armor, you'll do better. But if you wait until you get armor to go to the Nether, you might find armor there, and it might be too late. You might have already, you know, lost your personal best. I think there's like a big sequencing problem in life of when do you do each thing that is like fundamentally unsolvable because you can't do everything. And I think that's the real crisis of turning 30. I think the real also I used to you're constantly tired, Sweet Cat 07. I think the pro tip to that is try to sleep at the same time every night. And it's a silly pro tip, but you just gotta roll into it. You gotta convince yourself you're dead until you fall asleep. It works for everyone eventually. You gotta do it, Sweet Cat. Yeah, no, so yeah, like Ruby Doo was saying, like, oh yeah, I'm not ready to be a parent to a teen, and it's like, yeah, so you went early on, so you've finished the child path soon, right? Like teenagers, basically look after themselves, like besides emotionally. You become like an unwanted therapist at that point. A needed but unwanted therapist. So like, yeah, you've like done that real early, but then there's the question of like, okay, so what about like, you know, not self-satisfaction, self-actualization. When do you, now when do you do that? You know? Oh god. Well, at least I can look at it from here and I can see what I need to fix. There's some holes over there. Chat, I'm gonna fix the holes. It's gonna be real hard to fix these holes. I'm gonna try my best anyway. Okay, I'm just gonna slide in. I'm gonna place the block there. Yeah. Okay, then we'll. You know, this is a horrifically inefficient way to do it, but you better believe I love it anyway. So we actually, I think we got enough Nevrak to finish the walls. I can't believe it. Also, lol, parents are unwanted therapists. It's true, right? You gotta give therapy to a child who's gonna roll their eyes, ignore it, and then work it out at some point. That with about a 40% confidence rate that actually you were right. There's a 60% chance they hate you for it forever. I have been a teenager. I know the rules. But yeah, I think I'm in sixth form. One of my teachers gave an assembly, which fruit like him having a midlife crisis. Which fruit like him. Is he a fruit? You need a happy gas to fix those holes. Oh yeah, Everett Lewis, that would be perfect with a happy gas. You are right. You are very right. Julius Bean, you made the same observation, and it's equally smart. I know it's cliche, but when you're in your 20s, you appreciate your parents a lot more. I've been. I'm obviously the exception to this. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. I'm starting to appreciate my. I guess I'm starting to understand my living. I describe myself as an orphan at this point, chat, and it's more accurate than trying to describe the situation with my biological father. But it's like the worst bit about understanding something sometimes. Again, it's like the, you know, if you just want to be like, it's such a stereotype to be angry at your dad. It's never been my instinct. Even my my stepdad, who effectively just decided to cut off and steal and but like outside of like, I think even like with the most crazy like immoral even with that, I'm like, yeah, angry isn't my instinct, just like exhausted and exasperated it is. So like what's annoying is like as I like start to understand my absentee father, it's like, oh no, I really just think that he has that problem. He has the most traditional guy problem of like wanting to deal with the thing that is right in front of them, and if it's not right in front of them, then it doesn't put any focus in their mind. You know, it's not taking up any of their brain space. And I think that there's something disastrous about learning, like, oh, you know, it's not even that they were actively thinking, like, haha, I will get away with this thing. It's just they've moved on to caring about other things. I think that's true for, like, most bad things that humans do. We don't think, like, oh, yes, I have this big evil plan. We're just like, oh, yeah, this is... I want to be involved with that anymore, so I guess I won't be. Okay, so let's go round here. Now let's just make the next layer a bit bigger. Nice and simple. Then we'll have to place a few blocks over here, I guess. I don't know why I have these two random platforms. I just figure they'll be useful for building off in the future. If they are, it's great. If they're not, then they're here anyway. You've got to AFK your career. I don't know what that means, Floppy. If I AFK my career, I don't think I come back to having one. Which might not actually be true. I think I might have, like, psyched myself into that one a bit too much. I think I spend so many of my days stressing about what I'll upload on days that I'm not here. I think I started the stream mentioning, like, oh yeah, I'm going away, right? And so one of my big stresses is I don't feel like I can plan my going away until I'm, like, properly ahead on videos so that I can go away. But if I just said to myself, like, I'll just make the video that's important today, and then I just won't upload for 2 weeks, like some YouTubers just do, maybe it would work out, you know? I don't know that it would, or that it wouldn't, but maybe it would. Okay, so let's grab some more Nevrak. Is this one entirely empty? No, it's not. We've been switching back and forth. The good news is we should be able to finish. Honestly, having a kid made me resent my parents more. I can't imagine treating my girls the way I was as a kid. Makes me tear up thinking about it. Oh, that's weird, Adam Sony. I've been convinced it would be the opposite for me. That I'd be like, oh, this is exactly why this happened. Like, it is very easy. I don't know, like I think it's I guess you're lucky, or your kids are lucky to have someone who wants to be great. My dad was murdered by the man my mum was having an affair with when I was 6 years old, so great start to life. See, now that's an interesting... See, that's such a cool backstory. I hate to, like, stereotype or typecast you or whatever as just the policewoman, Polly E. I don't even know that's what you would describe your job as being. But that must give you some really interesting, like, you know, like, takes on the justice system, right? I feel like, you know, like, I guess there are so many things that seem like entirely pointless until you interact with them, and then you're like, oh, yeah, you need someone to do that. That needs to, that seemed pointless, but I'm glad that it exists. There's a name for this. It's one of the, like, basic tenets of, like, you know, conservative philosophy. It's like the idea of, instead of looking at something and saying, why is this here? You look at it and you work out why it's there. And then after you've worked out why it's there, you work out why it shouldn't be, rather than starting from the perspective that it shouldn't be there. I mean, it's like the fundamental, like, question in life as to what, like, are things the way they are right now fundamentally good or bad? Or is it fundamentally that if we change things, we'll make them better or worse? It's, like, the hardest overall question. But I think, like, one really bad interaction with authority will make you hate police forever, and one really good one might make you, you know, like, appreciate them forever. I think the same is true for, like, you know, one of the dumbest things whenever I looked at, like, it's one of the things that police have to do. It was when I was looking into, like, police budgets. It's like they have to be there to attend every death. So it's one of the things that even as, like, public, you know, like, the public realm policing numbers feel like they're going down. As crime and shoplifting is going up. Every death is being attended to by police. And you'd be like, why is that happening? And then, like, you know, I have now experienced that. And it's like, oh, yeah. So it's like, probably would be much worse were there not police to, like, make sure it's all registered and handled and, you know, like, deal with, like, if anything's suspicious, etc. My life would have made a great misfit book if I could be bothered to write it. I think writing about your life is a really good idea for yourself. I think this is like, I guess I'm giving you the same advice I would give to, like, someone who wants to start YouTube. Like, especially writing, though. Making things, you know, again, always especially writing. I did a lot of writing to make the money that I used to buy my, my setup that I used to start making videos in 2011. The writing is really interesting because as you are writing, you will discover so much. I think the process of writing something will gets to, like, a weird different part of your brain, I guess I'm saying. Like, you have, like, you know, you've got, like, 2 different brains in there. Something about writing is, like, the easiest way to connect both of them. Also, that was the last block! We did it, chat! Wait, I'm gonna... Yeah, we have the walls 100% placed, minus those 2 there, which I'll have to happy ghast up. Side note, this is the perfect place for a happy ghast, isn't it? I've incidentally... I'm gonna have to... I think I'm missing a few blocks. I think I'm too early to celebrate. Man, I'm hungry. Why do I always try to ignore it? And then I get surprised and I'm suddenly starving. I find what's good is having, like, a bunch of, like, easy short-term food to, like, hold you through to the long-term food. You know, even, like, a bag of crisps is, like, perfect for that, right? Chat, that was the last block there. We did it. We placed... I think to be... let's underestimate here. We placed something in the order of magnitude of about 60, 70,000 netherrack blocks. It should be closer to 128,000, but because the walls aren't perfectly flat and because we didn't place netherrack on the ocean there, it's probably just under 100k. But let's say 70k to be super, super conservative. As a result, look at it, we did it. We placed that many blocks, and that is incredible. I cannot believe we did it. But now, we can move on to different pastures. So the next task I have to do... You know, actually, no. Rather than moving on to the next task, let's take a moment to celebrate. It's something I want to do more of in my life is, you know, like, actually celebrate and appreciate. Now, if I get any more netherrack, it'll be, I don't know, going into a big shulker box somewhere. I'll work that out when we get there. But now, we have to work... Recap video is going to go hard, says Dominic. Oh, we don't have a recap video for this one. I'm sorry. It's been too many years. We don't have the footage from all of it. I could try and make one, but it's too crazy. I'm assuming the water draining is future Toycat's problem. No. So here's the clever thing. So let's take a moment. Look how great we did. Isn't this wonderful? Now all we have to do, there's 2 more key parts of this project. And that's just to get the, like, base box. But we've got the walls done, which is the big phase I've been working on for years now. Okay, so here's the next part of the project. The next phase, now that we've built these walls, is to build a ceiling, obviously. But we're going to have to be cautious about how we build a ceiling. Because, technically speaking, I was looking through the Nether today just to... How did I do that? Is there a button on the keyboard where you can drop an entire stack? Chat, how did I just do that? How did I just do that? If you press E and then Q? How do you drop an entire stack? Okay, I'm also managing to unequip my helmet using... If you press E then Q really quickly, you can... Oh, no. Oh. Okay. So, how did I block... How did I drop the entire stack? I want to know. Control Q. Whoa! Chat! This is... I've been playing Minecraft for so many years. And I have just discovered that you can drop an entire stack. Do you know how I had to drop entire stacks till now? I've been doing that. Oh. Man. Life changer. Okay, so, yeah, my next phase is to replace the water with lava. And Adam Sonny makes the joke that, like, oh, so that's future Toycat's problem, is it? But here's my actual plan to deal with it. So I've got this big collection of lava. And I'm going to slowly place that lava over here. When you place lava on top of water, something really fun happens. Which I can hopefully show you. When you place lava on top of water, you actually, as you can see right here, it creates stone underneath it. Which means we can effectively, you know, have stone down there. Which is real good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly and painfully replace all of this water with lava. I want to do it as all source blocks, but I know that I'm not going to be able to if I'm being, like, real with myself. But so the next phase for making that work is I need to really up my cauldron amount. I've got plenty of cauldrons, but I need plenty more. And so, yeah, this is the next phase of the project. Is to grow a lot of cauldrons with a lot of lava, and then slowly but surely place that lava in each of the blocks here. So now we'll go for a block here, and then we go for a block there. And look at that, the lava slowly expands. It's just kind of beautiful to watch, isn't it? Isn't there something nice about that? Oh, there's nothing nice about this. So chat, I'm glad that we stalled a little bit and told you about my future plans. The console edition size Never is getting better and better every day. But there's a cool little thing that we get to celebrate. Because guess what? As we end today's stream, we don't just end it on a random milestone in my project. I end it on a milestone for the world. Because guess what we just hit, chat? Can you believe it? After I go to bed and wake up in the morning, we'll have hit a giant milestone for my Let's Play world. Because I've officially survived, since the Bedrock edition, 6,969 days. Or as you might know it, it's day 6969. I'd better go attend to those duties. Thank you I can't end a stream like that. Thank you very much for watching today's live stream. If you did all enjoy it, then remember not to sleep in the never. And yeah, we've hit the nicest day possible. It's all uphill from here. And yeah, tomorrow we'll have a video about the end. And on Friday, we'll be back in the super flat world. Should be a lot of fun. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed this one. I'm going to take both of these home with me now. Just slow. Oh, wait, this one has the stuff in it. That has to be over there. So we'll take this one home, I guess. But now, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad we have these Minecraft chill chats. And I hope that you're glad too. But yeah, I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Buck, 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 buck. Attention. Attention, duty stick.